Will you answer the call? Aloha, shifters, conscious creators, dreamers within the dream. This is Brendon, and you're tuned in for another exciting, inspirational, community-created broadcast here through Paradigm Shift Central. This is a Paradigm Shift community admin broadcast. And, of course, once again, I am joined by multiple people across the globe, fellow shifters who are helping create Paradigm Shift communities where they are, who are helping shift consciousness where they are. So, guys, please unmute yourself and say hello to the internets together with me, welcoming all the people tuned into this. So, aloha to all you beautiful people. Yo, yo, yo. Sweet, guys. All right, guys. So, again, this is a Paradigm Shift community admin meeting, and this is, personally, one of my favorite live broadcasts that we do, because this is really taking it back to the root. This is really what this project is about. We do a lot of broadcasts through this project. And of course, those of you who aren't familiar, ParadigmShiftCentral.com is a real-world game to help shift consciousness, and it's about building communities across the world, paradigm shift communities that focus on regular open-minded discussion and meditation circles. And so what we want to be able to do is to show you that there are other people out there who are creating these communities, the Paradigm Shift community admins, and to invite other people listening to this to be able to know that you have the opportunity to be able to help create communities where you are as well. So, of course, check out the main website if you haven't yet. Join the live chat if you're tuned into this live and even in the future, and sync up with it. And within this broadcast, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about multiple things. We're going to get some updates from some of the various community admins in terms of progress, in terms of how things have been unfolding from one broadcast to the next, and also to be able to talk about how to create paradigm shift communities. We're going to be talking about shiftivism tactics, such as free hugs, hacking the matrix with love. We're going to be talking about social media strategies. We're going to be talking about leadership. We're going to be talking about what it means to be a light guardian within this day and age. So, of course, if you're watching this, please feel free to join in, and like I said, join in through the live chat, through the main website at ParadigmShiftCentral.com, and share this with your friends as we continue to kick this off. So, with that said, we're going to pass the mic over to our good friend Michelle Infinity. I know she has to be heading out shortly. So, Michelle, we're going to pass the talking stick over to you and tell us again who you are, where you're from, and a little bit in terms of what you have been up to in terms of shifting consciousness within your community. And I know you're going mobile soon, so you don't necessarily have a standard paradigm shift community, but you're still involved, you're still an active leader. So go ahead, say hello to the beautiful people, and give us the updates.
I love that you said you're still an active leader. Thank you so much. That's so beautiful. We spoke about it before the broadcast. There was me and my gypsy caravan is going to be heading out and doing, teaching circles, but also my adventure is actually going to be more about play, which has come up for me a lot, about just being able to enjoy life and be with people, creating space, but and even just like on a one-on-one personal basis. But as far as updates go, I did this yoga class at the local library, which was really intense for a couple reasons. In Cape Canaveral, where I live, it's a lot of older people, so the community was all different people. It was like a small Indian man. It was a bunch of middle-aged women. It was really inflexible young adults, which was interesting to see, because you would think that and then like a really, really flexible older woman. So what I noticed was that people are really in need of healing. And a woman at the end of the class was in tears because her husband had just passed away. And not to get too dramatic, and I didn't know that this is the direction, this is just what's coming out of me right now, but and I sat with her in her grief. And so my recognition, I haven't been doing a lot of live classes lately. That's a whole part of me going on the road soon, is to get more in touch with people and do group circles and to really have one-on-one interactivity, because for the last 6 months I've been doing videos and podcasts and articles. All of my time has been spent online, basically. And now it's time to move and kind of go out, and this was a big step into oh yeah, what is it like to teach a live class again? And so my discovery was two things. It's really powerful, because those of us who teach yoga understand the power it is to create that dynamic in the room, to create a healing energy bubble that your words, your guides, and your intention, and when you do the meditation, you feel this as well, as you're architecturing this energy and co-creating it with the guides, and people are going through their own experience and opening up, like kind of regardless of what you're doing, you're just holding space for them, and that is powerful and palpable. It's palpable. It's potent, as you would say. So that really moved me. So feeling that power again, feeling that energy, and seeing really the deeper awareness was seeing how much people actually out there need us to create spaces, was really humbling and awesome. So that was a big part of my shift over this last week. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Is just coming back into my power as a yoga teacher and a yoga instructor, and getting the goods from the universe the whole way. I've been getting all these synchronicities and signs about how teaching yoga is a part of my life purpose and my life path. It is a language and a modality that I can reach people with. So I'm ready to practice it and bring it to the people again. So that's a big shift for me.
Yay! Oh, that's so good to hear, Michelle. Wow, that's wonderful.
You know what's so, I love you, Breezy. You know what's so funny about these stories and these things is, like, you never know what's going to come out, and then, like, when it comes out, and you're like, wow, that was interesting. So thank you. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. You remember at 3DL I taught, like, a workshop. I taught a yoga class the day Phoenix passed, actually.
Yeah.
That was, like, one of my last classes. I did a little bit when I moved to Cape Canaveral, and then just faded away. So it's been a couple of years, and now it's starting again. So that's good. But I love you. Thank you.
Yeah. Like everything's like rebooting, and like everyone's kind of like coming full circle. So
yes.
Michelle, before you go, because I knew you do have to head out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever works. I was gonna say, like, what do you feel you get out of being like a community leader? Like, how has it helped you on your path?
God, you know what the real answer to that is like, oh, my cat is it aligns me to what my soul's calling is, and I feel like, I don't know if that's trite or deep, or I'm very tired, you guys. I've had like a very long couple of days, but all very beautiful couple of days to completely. But when I do healing work with people, when the woman comes up to me and she is carrying grief and I can be present with her, there's a higher awareness of my purpose on the earth. And like you said, like the light guardians, like what it means to be a light guardian, like you only get that when you're in the presence of another soul, and that you can be steady for that other soul and you can be present with that other person. And when we create our media, we know that we have ripple effects, and we see views, but it's a silent calling. It's like there's an interchange, there's an interpersonal connection by being a healer, hands-on. Yeah, so it's just an alignment of my own recognition of who I came here to be, and that makes you feel like you're plugged into a bigger whole. And I think that that's what we're all looking for, like spiritual community leaders, right? We want to feel that we're connected. Yeah, and that we have something to give, to be honest, you know. And I think that's the power, is that like when you step into your leadership, like you recognize that you have a gift to share, and that it realigns you with your mission. So, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Awesome. Did you say that, like, are you leaving soon? Because I was going to say, like, if you have any like final words before you leave, or if you're sticking around, then we'll just keep passing the microphone around. So,
yeah.
Now that the party started, you're gonna like wake up again. So.
I know. You know what's so funny is you do this to me all the time. It's like the passion that you have, like, cultivates my passion in my heart, and I like speaking and being open. And yeah, I just want to make sure that I wanted to wake up with the sunrise tomorrow and do the meditation and do all the yoga and all the things that I have to do to be on my path. So do I want to say anything? I just want to say love is good. And I hope everybody is riding the waves of these incredibly amazing times. And yeah, that's all. We'll pass it to Breezy because I love her, and I'll listen to her for a bit, and I might just silently meander off to my bed to get some sleep. So, yeah.
Aww. You, Michelle.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, again, thank you, Michelle. And just before we pass it over to Brianna, just again, as an example, like the focus of this project is on creating the physical communities. But again, it's really more so than anything, it's about bringing the shift with you. Like, that is what it's about. If you can create a physical community, then absolutely do that if it's possible. But more so than anything, the base mission is to carry the shift with you. You, like, build community wherever you go. So I mean, like, I'm sure Michelle will hear more about that within your travels, about you like connecting with other tribes and helping like orchestrate events and doing things that will just like funnel people together. So you're a very powerful catalyst, and again, thank you for being a part of this team. It's very inspirational. So,
Mwah.
mwah. Okay, awesome. So again, we'll pass it around, and I do have some updates related to the Paradigm Shift London community that I'll share a little bit later, including some recent free hugs, Shiftivism, shift mission that we had over the weekend, and a very particular story that came out of that really moved me and just reminded me again of what Michelle was saying, the importance of us being there and showing up and knowing that, like, sometimes you might doubt. It's just like, why do I want to do this? And you'll trick yourself. You'll tell yourself and be like, oh, you know, it's not worth my time. But then once you actually step into that and you see the difference that it makes in the other person's reality, that's why you do it, right? So it's really about this, like, being in service to others and not even really knowing how you'll be in service until the moment comes, and simply just agreeing to show up and trusting that the universe is just like, yes, thank you for showing up, because there is someone else who is just like going to be very grateful the fact that you did. So yeah, it's stepping into that courage and you know, being able to let go of the little voice that tells you that it's just like, oh, you know, like, I'm scared to do free hugs and stuff like that. Like, that's natural, and that's where it takes practice, and that's where it takes like the collective inspiration of the team to be able to inspire each other, to know that this is answering the call to what's needed right now for the world. So Brianna, we'll pass it over to you, and you can tell us a little bit about what you've been up to, and yeah, I'll let you say all that, because I know you got lots to share. So Brianna, go ahead.
Oh yes, thank you. Yahoo, minasan out there in the internet. My name is Brianna, also known as Breezy Spread Love on various social media. And, you know, I just want to thank Skull Babylon and Paradigm Shift Central in general for showing up, because every time I chose to show up at a Paradigm Shift meeting or listen to the radio show, I always felt inspired to go out and just try to make a change no matter what. And now I'm here, like almost 4 years later, blah, 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 doing all sorts of crazy cool things. And yeah, I'll start by presenting the notes that I have for tonight, which is a little more left brain than all the good lovey-dovey stuff. But I've decided to change the Paradigm Shift Livonia Facebook page to Paradigm Shift Kalamazoo, because Kalamazoo is where I'm living right now. So if I have any events around here, I'd want them to be posted to a city page. And then also for Paradigm Shift Grand Rapids, my friend Angelina the Book Fairy is over in Grand Rapids holding it down, and she's been attending GRASS meetings, and GRASS is a Grand Rapids Autonomous Support System group, and I'll post the link in the chat on the side. And then what they do is they meet in Wilcox Park every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and anyone can join. It's basically just like a group of people who do the same thing we do, only they meet in person. And they do things like feed the homeless. They raised a bunch of, they gathered a bunch of water and donated it to Flint during that whole situation. And they facilitate workshops, do guided meditations, and just encourage creative expression through creating safe spaces for people to dance and create art. So if anybody's interested, just go to facebook.com/Grand Rapids Autonomous Support System. They meet, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Sorry, I said Wednesdays earlier, but it's Tuesdays at 7 p.m. in Wilcox Park. So if you're in the Grand Rapids area, that's definitely something you should check out. Also, I'm admin for the Paradigm Shift Metro Detroit, and I have been connected with a very conscious community in Detroit on the Woodward Strip, kind of in a little bit more rougher part of Detroit. But they host drum circles at a place called the Psychedelic Healing Shack every Wednesday. at 8 p.m. So it's basically a vegetarian restaurant and holistic health shop. There's a guy named Dr. Bob, and he has like a chiropractic place and sells herbs and crystals and all that fun stuff. So you can go down there and grab some grub and shop and hang out with all the high vibe humans in Detroit every Wednesday at 8 p.m. at the Psychedelic Healing Shack. Check that out. So that's what's been going on for the Paradigm Shift groups in Michigan. Michigan's kind of becoming a little bit of a bumping area for all us high vibe humans over here. So, yeah. And then I have some personal announcements. But before that, does anybody have any questions about anything I just said? Because I kind of went through that really fast. No questions?
Do you got more to share though? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I do have more to share.
There may be some like logistical stuff in terms of like changing the Facebook page, but we can sort of talk about that later, even off air and stuff like that, because I know it just may be a thing that may come up or whatever. But yeah, like I think in terms of managing things, like obviously you got a lot on your plate, and so I mean I like commend you for being able to like handle all that, while at the same time just reminding all of us that what makes this work in a lot of ways is just like keeping it simple. So I mean, even for yourself, Brianna, and for all of us, like I just remind us to like how can we keep this like as simple and as accessible as possible, and as simple for ourselves to manage, so that we can like still like invest ourselves without like fully just like wearing ourselves out in the same way. So yeah, it's about like finding that balance, if that makes sense and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I think what you're doing is incredibly awesome, and I think you're the only admin who is like literally adminning for like 3 separate communities. So yeah. So bonus points to Brianna. Bonus shift buttons in your next shift button order. So
before I take we don't meet in person. I mean, these are events that I found where if people are in that area, it's a community that you can go and connect with. But, you know, I am totally open to doing more in-person events. Running Facebook pages isn't as hard as it sounds. But yeah,
yeah. I was just gonna say, and like in all honesty, with the way Facebook is going these days, like we can't depend on the Facebook pages anymore. Like it's as simple as that. Like
bummer, right? Go on.
Sorry, what was that, Michelle?
No, I'm just bummer, right?
Yeah. Like I mean, for anybody who's been paying attention to the way Facebook works now, like that. We can't depend on Facebook to be able to like build these communities and reach people through. Like we have to do it either one-to-one or get people tuned in through consistent scheduling. Like that is how people are going to know like what is going on, is like when they have the schedules of like a regular routine to know that. For example, like Brianna, like you were doing like global, like, or you're doing like full moon meetups and everything like that. So I mean, it's just something that I've been experiencing within the Paradigm Shift London meetup, where, you know, maybe within like the day of the meeting, it would just be like, okay, like to confirm we're meeting at the park, and I would post it on Facebook, but no one would get the message. And so it's just like, well, you know, like that's a very particular thing. So I mean, yeah, like the social media thing is something we'll talk a little bit more later on, but yeah, it's just one of the challenges and one of the obstacles in terms of building a community. But there are other ways, and something that's come up in the past are alternative websites such as meetup.com, which I know some people have used and have had success with. So I mean, for yourself, Brianna, when it comes to like organizing events, I would invite you to check out meetup.com just to help get things started as well. But yeah, again, we'll talk more about that later. But Brianna, I'll pass it back to you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, thanks. I'll have to definitely check out that meetup.com thing to organize some events. I'm thinking about organizing something for my birthday. More details to come for whoever wants to join a fun birthday party. But yeah, another way that we can build community is through festivals and attending consciousness-raising festivals. And I had the opportunity and was very blessed with the opportunity to teach my workshop twice. once at Branch Out Campout in Bangor, Michigan, and a second time at Mad Tea Party Jam in Pennsylvania. And my workshop focused on empowerment, and it comes from the quote, "Fill your cup until it overflows." I kind of wanted to branch off and say you had to fill yourself up with love and let it overflow. And I taught that twice. And at Bangor, Michigan, Branch Out Campout is a smaller festival. It only had maybe 400 people at it, and lots of high vibes. It was the first time they were doing workshops at the festival. Before, it had just been like music and fun activities, like BL visuals, which is where they like dye your hands in paint, and a really trippy design was there. There were a bunch of there were other like shops and vendors there. This year they decided to do a opening ceremony with an intention setting, meditation, and then had workshops throughout, including yoga. They had live painters set up everywhere. And Branch Out Campout is run by the Tree Love Collective, which some people might be familiar with. And they wanted to really make a name for it themselves because the property they were using was most known for like festivals where people trash the property and they would make lots of noise and there'd be lots of drinking. So the Tree Love Collective wanted to come in and really like beautify that space and hold more of a loving vibration, I guess you could say. So I was really blessed to be a part of creating that space, and pictures and stuff came out, so I think that was a success in terms of creating a very small consciousness festival in Michigan, and we hope to continue to utilize that space and keep rooting in that energy there as well. And then maybe have it next year and people can come out again. And then the second festival that I went to was the Mad Tea Party Jam in Pennsylvania with my friend here, Nick. He also taught a Merkaba activation, mind body activation. And yeah, I basically did the same workshop. Only that time I had like 25 people come out, and we decorated jars as like a metaphor for your vessel. So you decorate jars and then fill up the jars with things that empower you. So that was a really fun activity. And while they were working on their jars, I talked about tips and tricks to help during depression, help when you're stressed out, and I talked about positive psychology, and also had them do power poses, and finished with a discussion and a meditation. So that workshop went very well, and I hope to do more about that too. And I'm going to pass it to Nick so he can talk about his workshop.
Hey everybody. Yeah, so Merkaba activations. Yeah, I've been teaching them for about 4 years, ever since the first one that I've experienced at 3 Days of Light Festival. And I continue to teach them, and am now planning to put together a Merkaba study group, sort of an esoteric study group, to mainly focus on Merkaba, understanding how to use our light bodies and fully be able to encompass the potential in operating these light body vessels to explore different dimensions of consciousness, reality. So more to be announced on that. It seems like the paradigm shift community may be a good place to put that out there. People that may be interested in learning more about Merkabas and learning together on how to use Merkabas, building off of what we've already gained awareness from, and hopefully learning to interdimensionally travel successfully with our light bodies.
I should mention that Nick is based in the Metro Detroit area, so there will be like meditations and stuff in that area at any point. So tune into the Paradigm Shift Metro Detroit page for events in that area. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. Anything else?
Nothing really as far as the Merkaba activation slash Merkaba study group classes. I'm planning on having them online, sort of in a Google Hangout possible format. Seems like it'd be a good plan. Yeah.
I think that's all I have too. The workshops went great. Definitely connected with a lot of new people like Nick here. And yeah, thank you for spreading light, guys. Bang, 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 bang.
Good, Breezy.
Awesome. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Sweet. All right. Well, thanks again, guys, for the updates. And of course, you know, like, there's a million and different ways as to how we can bring community together, and that is exactly what we were exploring, right? You know, like, being a shifter is someone who is intentionally helping shift consciousness, and that can happen in an infinite amount of ways. So I mean, again, you know, this project is inviting people to know that there's this team of people who are here, who have answered the call, who are answering the call to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. And again, for the people just like listening to this, use this as inspiration to think about the ways how you can get involved. And maybe that means, you know, like, making a community garden. Maybe that means like volunteering. But again, you know, if you can organize events, if you can, even if what Brianna was saying, if you can be like a part of like even future festivals and things like that, that's super awesome. Michelle, do you want to say goodnight before you head off, or do you want to just like leave out like a ninja, or is it too late?
I am a ninja. That's very breezy. Ah, cha cha cha, right? So yeah, so good night, everybody. So blessings, everybody, and yay to festivals, and yay to everybody expanding their consciousness and doing workshops and doing more in their lives. Yay to growth. That's it. I love you. Good night.
Oh, we love you too, Michelle.
Right.
Thank you so much for all your blessings and wonderful words of wisdom every single time.
Honored, Breezy. So good.
Right.
Well, I'm going to bed with that in my heart. I love you.
We'll see you at the
Bye.
Dream
Happy
Tree.
birthday, Skull. Okay. Bye.
Thanks. See you at the Dream Tree.
See ya. The Dream Tree.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so again, guys, we're going to go around and get some more updates from various people in the community. And again, you know, for the people who are watching this live, feel free to join in. And again, for people who are watching this through the back end of the Facebook live feed, because I'm streaming this through Facebook, because again, you know, social media is just such a peculiar thing these days. Please feel free to tune in properly through the actual website and the YouTube, and even join the live chat through there, as that's where the conversation will be able to properly continue, and even join in through that end as well. So again, you know, there's paradigm shift communities all across the world. It is something that we are like always kind of like stepping into, in terms of, if you go through the main website, you can click on the button that says the team map. And when you do that, you'll actually be able to you'll be able to see a team index of some of the various communities, though that isn't fully up to date, but you can still use it as a reference, and within there you can find the communities that Brianna was mentioning, and we are going to be updating more of the team map. I am just going to try and pull up some of the actual map real quick to be able to, or I'll just pull up the community index real quick. This is going to be a little bit tricky for the Facebook people watching this, but again, they're secondary, so that's okay. So I'm just going to show you guys, again, just to give you something to get excited about. This is like part of the tools of the website. So like within this main menu, there's this thing here. I know you can't see my mouse, but where it clearly says team map within the circle, you can go to the website right now if you're on it. When you click that, I'm still updating this. Go past this map. This is the old map. Like honestly, this is just like not going to be here that much longer, but this is literally the old map of all of the different paradigm shift communities, though in all reality, not all of these are active anymore. So like that's kind of where we're in this stage of kind of going through a resurgence to see which communities are still active, like which admins are like still playing the game in that sense. And no doubt, like, you know, people are going to keep shifting paradigms in their own ways, whether or not they're directly connected with this project, and that's exactly kind of the idea behind it. Again, it's about taking the shift with you. But if you keep scrolling down a little bit further, you'll see like the team map, and this is the exciting thing, because we want people to use this now, because this is active, this is like live data, to be able to find shifters where they are, and to be able to know that like, hey, you could start a community where you are and already be able to connect with people in your area. So you can use like the map to be able to like scroll through the list on the side to zoom in on your area and to see different people in different locations. And like I said, we're right in the stage of being able to update this with new communities. So right now, all of these are individual shifters on the map, but what is going to be happening very soon is that we're going to be adding the individual communities. So right now, you'll see that there is there's a couple communities. So there's Paradigm Shift London and Paradigm Shift Adelaide. Those are just the only ones added currently, but again, more are going to be added in the future. And if you keep scrolling down, again, I'm going to be updating this in the future, but this is like the original list of all the different paradigm shift communities. So you can see like what's actually been created since this project began like 7 years ago. And it wasn't until about 2012, once we began the radio show, that things really started going global. And again, you know, it started as a single club in my college back in 2010, 2009, and we told people that, hey, you know, if you build it, they will come, and people have been creating it where they are. So again, you can use this list as a reference to be able to see what's in your area. So you can see right here, there's Battle Creek and Michigan, Battle Creek and Grand Rapids, and that's like the Grand Rapids one is the one that Brianna is involved with, and other ones down through there as well. But again, you know, I just want to say to people that as they go through the broadcast, I'm going to mention this later, one of the new features that we do have added is the admin sign up. So this is for everyone, this is for the admins listening to this right now, guys. Check out, because I just added this, check out the admin sign up form. So go up into tools up in the top and do this either after the broadcast or when you get a chance. Click on the admin sign up form. And then that's going to take you to a page where you're just going to fill out basic information of like who you are, where you're from, your current Facebook pages if you already have one, and a little bit of additional information, keeping it very simple. And that data is what we're going to use to help assemble the new data for this map right here. So that's basically just part of the updates that I just want to let you guys know about now as we continue to go through things. And again, just inviting people to use this website themselves to find shifters where they are. So again, you can click on the team map button up here in your heads up display within the menu of the website. So again, you know, this is a real world game to help shift consciousness, and this website is the game. You know, in the same way you would play like Age of Empires and you have your menus and you're moving all your stuff around, you can use this website to be able to navigate and find other shifters where you are. So those are just the basic things I just wanted to bring you guys up to speed on, though I can always go back and talk more about that later. But again, you know, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And this is an ongoing and evolving project. And again, the admin sign up form is new. So for anybody listening to this in the future, again, through the website, it's under tools and then admin sign up form. And it's also in the information for this episode under relative links. And the other thing that you can check out in addition to this, and I'll just show just again on screen share, is within your heads up display, there's also the button on the right of the center that says Community Startup Guide. You can click the Community Startup Guide to get more information, and this is like, again, not fully updated, but it has more information about how to create a Shift community. There's like a good image of what the one looks like here in London, and also examples of what happens inside the Shift communities, and also additional audio that you can use to get information. And yeah, there's more to this, but again, we'll get into it later, and let's get back into doing some of the updates. So like I said, I did want to share with you guys some really cool stories in terms of some free hugs activities that happened here in London, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And with that said, we'll pass it over to whoever technically wants to go next. I'm kind of thinking either Kyle or Sam, since both of you are at this point already established admins and currently working in progress. So Kyle or Sam, whoever wants to go first, please feel free to jump in. Maybe Sam, because I know Sam has to leave soon. So Sam, do you want to go?
You want to go?
Yeah,
cool, okay, man. Kyle will do second, and then Sam. Yeah, okay, go ahead, Sam.
Cool. All right, well, I'm Sam with Haven for Humanity. We're in Livingston Manor, New York. Our mission is to inspire and motivate people of all ages to live in harmony with nature. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. We're creating the first self-sustainable eco-resort, campground, and community wellness center in the Northeast. Been working on construction for 5 years now, and we have a greenhouse up, a geodesic community center, geodesic greenhouse. large shop and garage. You can check out our website at havenforhumanity.org. Again, we're in Livingston Manor, New York, upstate New York, about 2 hours away from Manhattan. And most recently, we've had our 4th compassionate communication discussion circle and class, where we went over nonviolent communication, and so that was a fun time. About 5 people, and certain classes had more people, certain classes had less. But that was before we were really advertising anywhere in the public. But now we're going to be having a growers potluck on the 28th of July, and that's going to be all the local farmers and gardeners and growers in the area. It's the first time we're inviting the public to our facility, so we now have the town backing us as a campground. So we're moving forward in that direction, and this event should be pretty cool.
Cool, yeah.
I was just showing some pictures while you were talking there, Sam. I'm not sure if you saw that, but
yeah, I did.
Yeah. Dude, cool. Brianna, did you go ahead? You had a response. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So you guys built all of those things?
Yeah, my brother and I, and volunteers in and out as we're working. Yeah.
That's very impressive. How many people live on the property?
It's just the 4 of us right now, my brother and I and my mom and my dad. My dad travels for work a couple weeks out of the month, and the 3 of us live here. My dog, big German Shepherd, also. And 2 cats, I'm sorry, yes.
Do you guys grow food on your property yet?
We're starting our like seedlings and things that we're going to be planting in the edible landscape and edible forest. But we have 40 acres of forest, and we're converting the whole thing into an edible forest, which is not hard because most of it is edible as it is right now. So we just have to fertilize and cultivate what's already there and really figure out what we have, and plant a few things here and there where we need to. And we have 2 acres where we're doing edible landscaping, where it's going to be more manicured, and we're going to have like fruit trees and orchard style. And then we have a couple acres of pick your own raspberries, a couple acres of blackberries, a couple acres of blueberries, and we're going to have trails to all these things.
Wow, that's impressive.
Hopefully going to do guided tours of the whole forest in the future and tell people what's edible and walk people through it.
Yeah, Sam, again, I commend you on what you're doing, because like within the theme of the Paradigm Shift Central project, which again is about like building community, we're saying inviting people like, hey, if you're living in a city, have your regular meetup groups like once a week, and just be able to like invite people to a temporary place where they come and go. But at the same time, if you can actually like build a self-sustainable eco village of a sort, then hell yeah. And that's like what you are doing. So dude, I really commend you for like this is something that you began before we even connected and everything like that. Like this is something that is just like coming from a very genuine place, the fact that it's like an entire family involved, and I think it's just like a really beautiful thing. And again, I really commend you for it. And again, myself and others, I look forward for us to be able to go there and to visit. And again, you didn't mention it, but or maybe you didn't, but it's something that you're inviting people to come and check out. Is that correct? And if so, do you want to just like forward that invitation to people who may be listening and what they might be able to get out of that experience possibly?
Yeah, I mean, the next event or I guess the first real public event that we're having is on the 28th, and that's open to any growers, anybody that's within the New York, Pennsylvania area, I guess, Connecticut, uh, anywhere around really. That's growing things and that's interested in connecting with other local growers and figuring out where we get good food from, and interacting with the farmers and people that work with our food, and getting to know these people and what they go through, and yeah. So
Sweet. Go ahead. Was there more? Or
no, I'm saying if that's at all interesting to anybody, you're welcome to come by on the 28th. And as we get more, support, and we move forward with our construction, we're hoping to finally complete our construction by this winter, and hopefully get open to the public for next spring. And then we'll actually have more classes and more events happening. But for now, it's only outdoors and it's only in the right seasons. So, but we are open. We are doing events. So.
yeah. Yeah, and so just like within the realms of updates, and we'll pass it off shortly after this unless there's anything else. But I was going to ask, so like within the recent community events that you've had, were those on the property? And also I was just going to ask, like what was that experience like for you? Because were you facilitating that, and what was the feedback like after doing those? Because again, those were, in a way, and we kind of talked about that, they were sort of like paradigm shift meetings in themselves under the umbrella of the Haven for Humanity project.
Yeah, definitely. The compassionate communication meetings were not held on this property because we actually watched a YouTube video on nonviolent communication, and then we had a discussion about it afterwards. And so we needed like a living room space with a TV and space like that. So we went to a friend's house, and I guess I moderated a couple of meetings, and then a friend of ours moderated another couple of meetings, and it was a very good experience. Everybody, because it was a meeting about compassionate communication and nonviolent communication, everybody communicated very well, and there were no issues, and it was a really fun time, and I feel like there was a lot of people had a lot of questions, and we had a really good discussion afterwards, and it was just very very powerful and very moving, and we really want to keep them going, and we're going to start opening them up to the public as well. The first 4 that we had were just sort of word of mouth to the people that we knew were interested in them, and now more and more people are getting interested in them as we tell them, so we're going to start opening them to the public. It seems to be very important for anybody trying to live in a community to know how to communicate compassionately, and a lot of people are yearning for that knowledge. So, yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, like I really think that's a great idea to just be able to bring in those particular topics into your meetings and everything. And you're right, again, as an example for ways how people can do meetings, yeah, it's sometimes doing them at a house is totally a possibility, and doing them at a park, doing them at a yoga studio, doing them at a library, a community center, anywhere that you could potentially just like comfortably gather is a potential place to be able to have a paradigm shift style meeting and everything. So Sam, I know there's obviously like more sort of things related to the project that we could talk about, but I was just going to say, from doing those meetings and doing those, because I know since the last time we talked, you hadn't necessarily done those yet, so those were kind of new since the last admin meeting that we have. But how have they sort of in a way like allowed you to sort of feel more comfortable taking on like a leadership role within your community and organizing future events going forward?
Well, those, and not just that, but getting together at various community meetings in the area with the Young Leaders Coalition and things like that in the area really made me realize that like local government is sort of lacking leadership, and really looking for young people to step up and to make changes and to be creative and show people new ideas and try to change things. So I'm really glad to see that there's a lot of room for improvement. Really glad to see that there's a lot of people willing to listen to the young generation and really accept the changes that need to be made. And there's a lot of people that are, going out there, and a lot of young people trying to make changes that for the better of all humanity, for the better of the planet, for the better of all living creatures on the planet, and it's really inspiring. Sullivan County in New York is really an amazing place right now.
Sweet, sweet, man. Well, again, thank you so much for doing that and for helping organize those events, because again, they just, once that ball gets rolling and people get interested, other people in the community are just like, yeah, like, let's do more of those, like, and then word of mouth spreads, and then more people start coming out, and it just begins to open up more and more possibilities in terms of what you can do, and especially as the actual project of Haven for Humanity continues to grow, it's a great way to be able to help create that foundation of community who, through these events, are also connecting to your project and being able to get involved with that directly. So, I mean, yeah, I only see, really positive things coming out of, like, the future for the project. So I'm pretty excited, man. And I was just going to say, just remind people again tuning in as to, like, where exactly you guys are located, and again, obviously havenforhumanity.org is the website, and people can contact Sam through there, and I'll include his information in the show notes as well. But any other information that you want to pass on to people before we pass the talking stick around again?
Yeah, we're in Livingston Manor, New York. It's about 2 hours north of Manhattan, upstate New York, in the Catskills. It's really beautiful here. It's in the mountains. We're really secluded. You can look us up on Google. If you just Google Haven for Humanity and look up the maps, we should come up. So yeah, if anybody's, we're not really open to the public, but if you would like to make an appointment and come visit, you can call us. Our phone numbers on the website, emails on the website. So yeah, send us a message.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, like I said, I look forward to being able to meet you there in person someday. So it'd be really cool.
Me too, man.
Yeah, I mean, within like realms of what's possible and stuff like that, I'm just like seeing the possibilities of, like, future events that you would be able to have at the Haven for Humanity. So, I mean, for people listening to this, like, stay tuned, because it's very possible that down the road we'll be able to organize, like, a shifter gathering at Haven for Humanity in the future, so long as Sam is on board with being able to help make that happen. So
absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Cool.
I would love to.
Awesome. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Well, again, thank you so much, Sam. And yeah, definitely look forward to hearing more about the project as it continues to evolve. And I was just going to say, when did you start it? How long have you guys been working on it?
This is our 5th year here, living in a camper. We were living in a camper for about 4 years, but yeah, we've been working on this place for about 5 years. Been doing construction, and simultaneously I've been getting my life coaching certificate and personal training certificate and health coaching certificate, and my brother's been getting other personal movement exercises, trying to do construction and social media and work with the town with our architects. So we're spread really thin and moving kind of slow, but we're getting as much done as we can as fast as we can, and we have a lot of support and a lot of volunteer help, and we're really amazed with how much support we're getting, and couldn't be more grateful for that. So yeah, things are moving really well.
Awesome. Awesome, sweet man. That's super exciting. And then again, I just want to give a shout out to your family. Huge shout out to everyone involved with this project, and bonus shout out to your German Shepherd. So
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Yours too. Yours too.
thanks, man. Cool, cool. Okay, so thanks again, Sam, and let's keep passing this around. And I know we actually do have a couple other people in the Hangout who are at least one of them, Bren, who was in the last Dream class. She has been involved with the project in the past, and so I'm looking forward to hearing what she has to say in terms of, I know you had mentioned in the Dream class that you've actually been involved with like the spiritual community in Asheville. Did you say Asheville? That you're doing stuff in Asheville? Yeah, she got the nod. So, so I look forward to hearing about that. And then we actually have a new player who has recently joined the game, Rebecca, who's in Sarnia, and that's not too far away from London. So we'll be able to hear from them shortly. In the meantime, we'll pass it over to Kyle, and then maybe after that, I'll give you guys a quick update on the pre-hug story that I want to share. And Kyle, who is in Delaware, I know, you've been going out on some adventures and planting those seeds. So, Kyle, tell us a little bit about how things have been going as an admin, where you are in your ongoing mission to be able to help shift consciousness through your community.
Well, as of lately, I've been trying to just sort of hack the matrix and get a response that way, just sort of like literally esoterically and like metaphysically. Sort of just hack the matrix and get a response that way, because it seems as though I'm lacking maybe some certain social skills or something that I haven't tapped into exactly. I realized through one of my recent transformations that it's going to be very hard for me to talk to human beings again, like in general. So that's a thing for me. I'm not really sure where that stems from, and I've never really had a huge problem with talking to random people or connecting with people. Connecting with people is one thing, but starting that initial hey, what's up, that comfort zone or whatever, creating that comfort zone, I haven't been able to NLP map it out yet. You know what I mean? I've got everything else there, but it's creating the comfort zone. I don't know. So yeah, that's the thing. But I got a crazy story. I've got a really wild story. And shout out to some listeners I've brought in. I got some people in the Pennsylvania area listening right now. So shout out to Devin Cooper and to Fiona McCartney, I think is her last name. But yeah, shout out to you guys for being in the area, because we don't have a lot of people in the area. I thought Sherman was in here, but it looks like he's not. He's in Maryland. And shout out to John, if he's in, watching or anything. I'm not sure. But those are some people in our area close to us. Delaware being such a small state, having people in Pennsylvania and in Maryland, that's pretty cool. That's kind of a community in itself. Having stretched across a quote-unquote tri-state. But anyway, in addition to that, I've got some really cool stuff in the works. I just had that new quest journal came out about understanding the golden age of Aquarius, and that's about understanding the energies that are currently spilling over Earth right now. There's a vortex, like a big portal that opened up between Earth and Saturn or something. It's like Earth or Venus or Earth or Saturn. Well, that energy is now spilling over Earth, creating this giant ripple of just pure love and intent. And I don't know. Well, I guess you have to be able to create that intention, because this energy creates a very strong bridge to the fifth dimensional element, and the fifth dimensional element will manifest anything instantly, anything that you're focusing on, but that's with this complete and total disregard for whether or not that was positive or not. So you have to be mindful and focus on what your intent is and what lies, and to be sure that you're moving into those areas and into your awakening and into your elevation process, or evolution process, or whatever you want to call it, with the highest affirmation of self-love possible in each moment, in each day, and everything that you do. Try and bring your whole self to whatever it is, and be clear, precise, and have pure intention and love, and you'll be surprised what happens. In addition, really crazy story, man. I sort of just like, I'll get into that in a second. I want to go over some things before that. I've got here tapping into the upcoming quest journal I have. I want to write a quest journal on, well, what Eddie said, because I took a request, and he's the only person who replied, and he said he wanted to hear me write about the warrior, or the heart of a warrior. So I think that's one that I'm going to do, but that's going to take me a lot of focus and a lot of concentration to write. So I'm going to write this other one first, and that's actually on cultivating sexual energy and using that to using that in different aspects to fuel something else, because sexual energy for human beings is such a very powerful and strong emotion, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that it's passion and love driven. Passion being a form of love, but being a lower form, kind of like a lower vibration, but it's the baseline for it. Without passion, like, everything sort of melts away. But yeah, about building up. It's gonna move into basically. Let me just read you what I've got written down. It's kind of like a brief overview of what it's going to be about. But it's going to get like a lot more in depth into the and the actual quest journal is going to be pretty in depth. This is cultivation of sexual energy. This is basically, you start by cultivating it. You can cultivate it through a physical stimuli, but you should use a mental stimuli. You should try not to be like using a lot of physical stimuli, because it just makes a stronger connection and bridge if it's all like a mental and energetic sort of manifestation. Basically, like the process I'm going to describe and go over is bringing yourself, or like yourself and a partner, or just yourself, or whatever the hell you got going on. You know what I mean? With or without a tantric partner, basically, you can bring everything up to an apex multiple times. So you get yourself like basically all the way to climax, and then just sort of focus on the intent of what you want to put that energy forth. But you do that over a repetitive amount of times, and that builds it up and amplifies it and refines it, builds it up and amplifies it and refines it, builds it up and amplifies it and refines it, and then adds a little bit of gain. And at the very last portion, you just hold it all in, and sort of, you can like ankh it and use it as an ascension vehicle, and that goes to Merkaba activation, because I feel like ankhing and Merkabas are sort of similar. It's a vehicle of ascension, basically. Or you could just like let it radiate throughout you and hold it in. Another thing that I wanted to get into is the quote-unquote shift, gift, or ability, or whatever you want to call it. It's like a thing. And I actually met up with my buddy Mike last night, dude. It was so random, and like that's a really cool story that I'm getting to. That's kind of what this portion ties into next. The shift, blah 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 blah. What does it say? There are an infinite amount of adjacent realities to us. We can only see one, the one that we're in. A lot of the times we go to these places in your sleep, but when you're in your sleep, you go to you can go to farther realms, and that is, the farther out you go, the more fantastical they get. The closer to our central point of where we are in the current stasis, they only vary slightly. Those very, very small amounts. Basically, if you could imagine like a canvas, like you think of a canvas that we paint on. It's a three-dimensional object that we scribe or paint two-dimensional stuff onto. And even if you're drawing a cube or a sphere, That's merely an artist's rendition of a shadow of a three-dimensional figure. If you draw a cube, it still is just a shadow of the cube itself. Whether or not you can see through it and you have all the lines, but you draw a cube and it's not a cube. Those lines don't go at 90 degrees to the, they don't extend at 90 degrees to themselves in that fashion as a cube does, as a square does. You take a square and you pull it 90 degrees to itself. You take a line and pull it 90 degrees to itself several times, and that gives you a square. You pull the square 90 degrees to itself, you have a cube in a three-dimensional aspect. What happens when you do that? You take a three-dimensional object and you extend that out at 90 degrees to itself again. And then you have a fourth-dimensional aspect. That's a tesseract, on a cube basis at least, a hypercube or whatever you want to call that. Think about that as a fourth-dimensional canvas that someone or something or just the matrix itself is a bunch of three-dimensional paintings on it. But in those three dimensions, an infinite amount of possibilities in every little aspect and detail. Like the one next to me is like, the differences are as minute as the fact that one atom could be misplaced out of Brendon's shirt in the dimension next to us. His shirt, everything could be completely the same except for one atom in his shirt, and then that extends to an infinite number of places of where that atom can be. You know what I mean? So it's kind of in itself a Mandelbrot equation, how that infinitely fits inside of itself, and that just relates back to the fact that we are the universe experiencing itself over a multitude amount of times. The point is of all that is that we are getting to a state of universal awareness that the universe as a whole is starting to realize itself, I guess. Maybe that's part of this awakening, and maybe that's part of the reason that this portal is opening right now.
Yeah.
And another thing, you got something to say? I still have more, though.
Well, I was just gonna say, sorry, I might have missed actually, but like the stuff that you're talking about here is this in reference to like a potential like article that you're going to be writing in the future, or just like
that too. That's kind of just what's coming out right now, I guess.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I was just gonna say like keep going, but let's like route it back into like admin topics specifically as we go through this. So
I'm sorry, dude. Those are future topics.
Because that's what I mean. That's like we can totally
like cultivation of sexual energy. That's a topic for
it's
an
funny
upcoming Quest journal to look forward to, and so is this.
Yeah, it's. I'll just say something real quick, and it's funny, Kyle, because like with the sexual topic, and like this goes for all the admins. The next Destiny school is actually going to be on love and sacred sexuality. So
that's awesome.
So we'll have plenty of time to talk about it in that as well. But yeah, like it's a good topic, and what you said there, like with the onking and stuff like that, like give people a little taste for it, and definitely come back later for like. And encouraging them to research it some more. But go ahead, man. Keep going with what you got.
Damn right. All right. So yeah, all right. Where was I? Fourth dimension. All right, and then it goes back to the portal being open. Basically, we've got this four-dimensional canvas creating an infinite amount of infinities of experience to experience itself repetitively. Over and over and over and over and over again, basically forever, until it evolves itself into a higher being, and then we can all ascend. Or it happens individually at a time, I'm not sure. But basically, that ties into the fifth dimensional energy, being on that fourth dimensional plane and having that realization. Then you get to the fifth dimensional energy and the fifth dimensional aspect that instantly manifests thought and process and pattern. And that goes back to what we were saying, I think in one of the last hangouts, about how if you think about something for 17 seconds, it literally starts to manifest. So then, just another reminder, be mindful of what fears, may be manifesting and what you have to be wary of to like avoid and stay at one with yourself.
Yeah.
But community updates, and community update-wise, we've got some cool stuff, man. I mean, this all ties in because literally, dude, like, I've got this really wild story. This all happened last night, and I had just gotten off work, and I was like, all right, man, I think I'm gonna like start maybe investigating into how I'm gonna go about starting this next quest journal about cultivating sexual energy and how we can use that, and what the Ankh is, and how the Egyptians used that, and what it really is, and all this different stuff. And I was like, you know what? I was like, man, it just kind of got to a point, man, where I was like, all right, I was like, man, I gotta find some people to hang out with. I was like, I gotta find some people to hang out with, you know what I mean? Like, and I just sort of threw it out there in a post. I was like, where are the maiden of the moon? Like, where are the sisters of the moon? Where are the mistress of the night? You know what I mean? Who's the people? Where are they at? People look at the sky and they feel the same way about it as I do, you know? So, and literally, just as I was like focusing on that intent and like just a pure intention of like meeting some new individuals, some new prospective individuals to like plant seeds in and arbor ideas and get some crazy stuff going, and then the universe was literally like, I hit post and then it was like, boom, someone hit me up. It was my buddy's girlfriend, and this is really weird because I had thought that he would have been with her and all this, and like, nah, he was just chilling at the crib, like, waiting. But literally, moments after that, with like that amount of pure intention and that directive of fifth dimensional energy, boom, someone hit me up, and it was like, how did you, like, what? That was just complete random, 100% random. She's like, like, just come hang out with us tonight. I got some people who wanted to meet you. I was like, okay. So I go, I thought she was going to like, pick me up with Mike and like pick me up with this car full of people. I go, Mike's having this fucking party or something. Like, so everyone's hanging around having a good time, and I'm catching up with Mike, and Mike is someone who's very awakened. He's a very awakened individual. He's not as open about it as I am. He's not as, I guess, maybe not as focused and driven as I am, but I'm a completely different person altogether, most human being. But so it was really cool to connect with him, and the synchronicities that happened last night were just insane. And like literally, it was like I got picked up and I got snapped into deja vu, and it didn't stop. It just didn't stop. It was like, this is the dream. It's like, you are dreaming right now. This is the dream. I was like chilling over at Mike's house, and we're like sitting in a hot tub, and I'm talking to people about spirituality, and it was like awesome, man. I was like, dude, I was like, this is the dream. Like, there's no reason to go to sleep and dream. This is it right here. It was like that factor of bringing all that together, and that's what that central point of convergence was like. Boom, cognitive reflex increase, like physical adaptation acquired. Boom, you've got it. It's all right here. It's like more stuff unlocked. It was very, very intense. Like all the synchronicities, everything that fell into place, and it was just like
you arrived.
Yeah, dude. It was like basically it was like, welcome, you've made the transcendence. It has occurred, or something. I don't know, dude. It was just.
Do you feel that I think Brianna had something to jump in a second.
No, these people were very, very, very beautifully awakened.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Like, do you feel like you've like made some good community connections there, as in like you've like found the tribe?
Yeah, dude. Basically, it was like the universe was like, pow! Like, you put the right amount of everything into it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and slide you this first. Here's a little bit of the rest is coming later or something, maybe. I don't know. It was just like, wow.
Sweet, man.
It was like, all right, I'm obviously on the right path. Like,
did you talk to them about like organizing shift meetings or anything like that yet?
No, it was just sort of hanging out. It was just sort of like a thing. But it was like, wow, these people are awakened individuals, like, I was like, that's fucking awesome. Like, and I just told him, I was like, hey, check this out. Like, there's a podcast going on tonight, like, watch it and check it out. They said that they're trying to like minimize their Facebook usage. I'm like, that's excellent. It's a very excellent thing to do in today's day and age. But what we do is something different. Like we try and hack that. We hack the matrix using it.
We're hackers. We hack the
Matrix.
matrix.
We hack the
Hack the
matrix by spreading
Matrix.
love this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, but it was just a very
That's awesome,
cool
man. I'm
experience.
happy
It was
for you.
totally unique. It was just like, wow. So like I got all their information. I was like, yeah, let's connect in the future. Let's do stuff. Let's make
Yeah, man.
history. I told them about the
Sound-
documentary idea, and I was like, yeah,
Dude, wicked.
let's get them in there. It's gonna be cool, man. I really look forward to connecting with these people on a personal level. It's gonna be really interesting.
Dude, man, like I feel like, yeah, like you've got what you need at this point. Like everything's within arm's reach, and you know, like you were talking before, like we were kind of talking. It was just like, you know, I was kind of just like saying, you know, like so like do you feel that you're gonna do free hugs soon and stuff like that? It sounds like these people would probably be down to do free hugs with you.
Yeah, probably.
So I mean, yeah, just like put that
We're
idea
getting, like,
out
in
there,
the whole
right?
crew on it.
Or just like
Yeah.
tell them. I mean, even in a case like that, like when it comes to free hugs, sometimes you don't have like you don't need other people to do it, right? You can just say like, hey, look, like I'm doing this, and like I'm telling you guys so that you guys can like choose out of your own free will to join
Yeah.
me and stuff like that, and kind of like take that like first step kind of thing. But I mean, yeah, dude, I'm really excited to hear that, because yeah, like I know before you're just like, where are they?
Yeah, like where are the other
there they are. You
Awakens?
found them.
Boom.
They arrived. They
I'm gonna
showed
start
up
hanging
right
out
at
and
your
doing good
doorstep.
stuff. Yeah, dude, like that's kind of what I needed though, is because like it's just so like I don't know, like I said, like I'm trying to rebuild certain mental maps. I'm trying to rebuild certain ways of thinking, I guess, or I don't know. It's just like I went under this transformation, and now I'm a new person than I was last year. You know, I'm not the same person. I mean, I am the same soul, but I'm not the same person with the same, character and attributes. You know, I carried forth all the good, but I had to experience all that negative and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
It's made you stronger too.
yeah, to be able to like think clearly and be like, oh, okay, like now my head's clear and shit. So
Yeah. And I was gonna ask you, I was gonna ask you a question in a second, and I'll do that. But I was just gonna say, like, it's really cool to hear your story, because again, like, this is another example of how this works for all of us in terms of the idea that there are already people in our community who we are connected to before we even meet them, sort of thing. And simply by like putting out that intention and being open about it, like it will come to you when the time is right. Sometimes it may come sooner, sometimes it may come later, sort of thing, depending on like how you choose to strategically put yourself out there. But like they are there, and it's cool when like they've already started like gathering in their own little circles and everything like that. So if you find one, you may actually find like 10, sort of thing. And it sounds like that's kind of like what happened here. And I was just gonna again, so like for anybody out there, like that's what this project is about like knowing that the universe is using synchronicity to bring us together, and the universe wants this to happen. It wants consciousness to evolve. It wants the tribe to come together, and we are like the catalyst to be able to like be the like the ways in which the energy of the universe can bring that into this reality, like through our actions and through our interactions and through our relationships. Yeah, Kyle, I was just going to say, and maybe Brianna, she had a point too, you can jump into, but I was just going to ask you even before you even mentioned this, but I was just going to ask you, like, how do you feel that, and just sort of a short version of this answer, if anything, but how do you feel that you've sort of shifted within like your idea of thinking of yourself as a leader? Moving forward, like do you feel like, even just like thinking back to a year from now, like do you feel different in terms of like what being a leader even means to you at this point?
Yeah, I would say there's definitely a drastic increase in like my self-confidence, and I mean, I'm gonna say like overall my spiritual connection to source and what it is exactly that I'm supposed to be harboring and doing. I'd say that's becoming a lot more clear, and that's something that's very important to me, because I've always felt the calling since a very young and early age. Like I've always said, I've always felt like I have always been awakened. There was no period of time. It's like I came into this world to do this, you know what I mean? But as a leader, yes, like, I mean, it's just something that that you do, I guess, like from a year ago. The person I was a year ago and the person I am now are two totally different people. Where I'm at in life right now, I'm very happy and comfortable. You know, like systematically, you know, picked out all the people that are just like sitting around doing nothing and not trying to do anything with their lives at all, like literally nothing, like don't even want to move or get out of any kind of mindset. And it's like, you know, like I never understood those mindsets anyway. So I just stopped hanging out with all these people. And now I've got this new set of friends coming in, and it's like, well, hopefully, you know, we'll see where it goes. But I'm keeping that energy strong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I've been trying to, that's what I've been itching for, really, is just like a new set of friends that, like, because my buddy Frank is, I got a buddy Frank, and he's a real badass guy, but, like, can only connect with him on so many levels because he's, like, kind of an older guy, and he's got, like, a little bit of a tradition mindset. So there's a lot that I miss out on relating to because of the fact that, like, either he wouldn't understand my thought process or I couldn't understand his. And he's a Leo. And Aquarius and Leo get along pretty well, but I mean, I would say, yeah, we get along fucking great, actually. Me and fucking Frank are total homeboys. But I never really looked up vibrations of Leo and Aquarius. But anyway, that's another thing. But yeah, so like I've systematically picked everybody out, and then my buddies, the Quisenberries, like they're really good. They're really good guys, and like I love them. They're literally my family outside of, you know, my mom and my dad. That's my family. So, but they're pretty close-minded individuals, you know. So I keep it tight knit with them, and I kind of keep the paradigm shift. You know, I know where to put it and where not to put it. So other than those two people, and besides Cameron, who's also a friend of mine, like, and these are people that I don't really see very often. Outside of there, you know, like a lot of my communication has been through the network. Like Michelle said earlier, you know, like I am definitely feeling an urge to get out there and mingle with some human beings, you know, and like talk to some people at this point. Like, and I think that's also where a direction that the universe was putting me into, you know, because, and again, like the only leader I have is the universe, and I guess that's what makes me a leader. But it's
I like it. I dig it.
Dude, it's like all right, so I'm sorry, I just got off track. I got some people hitting me up. Oh yeah, that's where I think the universe is pushing. It's like, yo man, it's time for you to get a new set of friends. Like, you can't really turn into a total social weirdo and only know how to talk to people through a camera. You know what I mean? So it's like pushing me in this direction. It's like, hey, here's an idea. You know, here's an idea. Here's the action. Here's prospective territory. Now check this out. Like, see if you can connect. See if you can make something happen. Like, and again, like, it's more about having a you know, like, it starts off like, this is where it's starting off for me. It's having this, you know. Now I've gotten back in with Mike. Hopefully I'll be able to hang out with him a lot more in the future and get, like, you know, integrated into this new set of friends in this new social setting, and then from then start stemming out and reaching out, you know, like, and spreading a message that way.
Yeah.
But
and find the others too. Like,
yeah, finding the others, like finding the rest, you know.
See, this is like, I mean, it's
that's
funny.
Exactly where it's at.
It's funny because, like, everyone's, like, busy playing Pokemon Go right now, right? And it's just, like, finding the Pokemon. Whereas, like, right now, like, our focus is, like, finding the others.
Finding yourself.
The others. Finding yourself. That's, like, the most legendary Pokemon of all. Duh.
Yeah, dude.
And, like, yeah, like, finding the other shifters, finding the other people who are, like, beginning to awaken and stuff like that. So, yeah. Then that's, again, you know, it's part of the real-world game. Like, it's pretty freaking exciting, honestly. So yeah, instead of Pokeballs, we got shift buttons. So
yeah,
see
it? Yeah, it's not even so much like finding the others. Like this is what the paradigm shift community is it's the education and the bringing together and the advancement of all of us. And that's why we have these meetings, is to, like what Kyle was saying just a second ago. He's trying to, like, better himself, get himself better friends, getting better, more beneficial situations, and that's really what it's all about. So I don't know if it's like my turn yet, but I was gonna
No, it's
go
all
on.
good, man. Yeah, that's
I
Yeah,
cool.
was gonna
Roman,
go on
go
a
I was
for
little
it.
just
bit
gonna, I
about
was actually gonna
insanity.
like roll out of my little speech for a second and then switch it over. That's all.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was just gonna say,
Um,
I was just gonna say, like, man, yeah, it was just really cool to be able to like reconnect with my old buddy, and that the universe was just like, oh, check this out. It was like getting sucked into like this. Literally, I got sucked into a portal, man, and now I'm like in a new. I just, I shifted over a couple
yeah.
40 plus up and left cubes, and that's all.
New realities like have
Boom.
emerged and unlocked.
Yeah,
So yeah,
basically.
dude, that's exciting.
That's
Kyle,
really cool, man.
let me
I'm
just ask you
excited.
one, dude. Yeah, it is exciting, man. Like I'm happy to hear that, and again, I'm happy for the whole community to be able to hear your story again as an example to just like know that these synchronicities are ripe and ready for us to step into. I was just gonna say, just in short form, just like. Can you give us a little bit about your intentions moving forward in terms of like creating the foundations for a shift community where you are, if that's something that you sort of like got in mind?
Yeah, that's always been in the back of my mind since I, jumped in to the group and started hanging out. That's still there to have this like foundation and basis. It's really about not being pushy on people, and like whoever wants to be involved can be involved, and that's like sort of where I'm leaving it at right now. Like getting to know people and talking is basically like where that is right now. It's just sort of just being able to mingle with people and talk and like create connections and make a new like social circle of good enlightened individuals, and then just throw it out there and be like, oh yeah, I do this, by the way, so if you guys want to be involved, that's pretty cool. But first things first, like I'm just trying to have a really good cool social circle of enlightened friends to hang out with. And I'm actually really pleased to see that Mike totally kept on with, because he sort of like woke up as I was like, because I was always talking about stuff. And I was like, check this out, look at that, and what do you think about this? And eventually he got into the same thought processing. Where he is at right now is pretty dope, and I really enjoy that. And he's got like, dude, he's got like this. He had like a shared psychedelic experience with his girlfriend Janine or something, and like, that's really cool. And I was like, yeah, man, like there's a lot of these synchronicities happening in the world right now. I was like, dude, you better like hold that connection. Don't let that flutter away. That's beautifully amazing. You know what I mean? It's fantastic. So, and that just sort of relates back to the whole psychedelic experience. Everything
Yeah.
over there. And it was just cool hearing his story about it, his sort of shared experience, and how they collectively, those two minds, being together, sort of like figured out the universe and hacked it. I was like, that's beautiful, man. Like, that's beautiful, you know what I mean? Like, fucking fantastic. So it's great to see that he's evolving too, and I think I kind of, I asked him if he would want to do an interview for a documentary, and he said yeah. So my buddy Mike, I don't really know what he calls himself, but fucking he'll be in a documentary for, the future movies that I'm going to be making and creating, and the future conscious media that will be continually coming out after I figure out how to master video editing and stuff like that. I'm sure it's not as hard as its intimidation. So.
Word, man.
Yeah, that's what I've got right now.
Sweet.
Sort of just establishing the base for everything. It kind of just starts with
Sweet.
meeting some good people, making some good friends,
Yeah.
getting involved with a good set of people with a good positive mindset, and then throwing it out there and seeing what does get set in motion. But
it definitely boosts you once it starts happening and stuff like that, because like now you've got like momentum, and stuff. So you can see like sometimes creating a paradigm shift community is just like that, especially if you're just like one person in the entire city that you're in, it can be like a little daunting to just get like that first step happening and stuff like that. But once you start meeting that first person and the second, and then it starts connecting, then like the momentum continues to build. So it sounds that, yeah, like I know for a while you were saying, you know, it's just like you're like, oh, like, you know, there's like everyone's like, you know, robots in this town and stuff like that, you know, at least on some degree. But like now it sounds that you've begun to find the others who are going to be able to like definitely continue to play a part of your ongoing story and help in some ways being able to bring others together as part of the Shift community. So dude, definitely cool. Well, Kyle, thanks again for the updates. Any just last words for right now, just before we pass the talking stick around?
Just be looking forward to some really cool new articles on some cool conscious stuff, you know, more conscious media coming out. Hopefully I'll be buckling down on some videos. I'd like to do some, I don't know, some documentation of like this little Zen thing I'm building about. I'm going to try and incorporate on how like creating, you know, cleaning up space and like doing work and, you know, chop wood, carry water type deal stuff, I guess, about how, you know, like that was a focus for me for a little bit and figuring all that stuff out. It's a cool conscious media coming out. Fiona and Devin, if you guys are still listening, I look forward very much to connecting with you guys in the future and seeing what's good with everything. And yeah, you guys.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your synchronicity and whatnot. Like, your report was awesome and definitely a huge confirmation.
Yeah, great story. Yeah, we're shifting real fast. Literally.
Oh yeah, one thing to you, man. Was that Nick, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I was trying to focus on that, like the sound of a Merkaba type deal, like, and I don't know, I was just, you know, imagining it. Yeah, the sound of a pyramid. I mean, yeah, and it was really cool. You know, I just got like this really cool low, like kind of sound. It was like wicked, but yeah, like as far as like Merkaba activation, man, it was like I tried to like think about that like a couple years ago, or maybe it was just like last year when I was in the army, man. I was thinking about it, and recently as we went over it again and I was listening to you talk about it, I think it was like the next day I had an experience where I was thinking on it, and I was thinking on the sound of a pyramid, and then I had like that sensation, and then like it was like how your heart is a sensory organ and how it sort of has like these tentacles that reach out, you know? It was like every one of those was just like, PAH! It shot straight out in the line, and I was like, oh, there it is, right there. It was fucking beautiful, man.
Beautiful.
It was great.
Wow.
No,
I was really intense.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
I think Nick, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, just because like your synchronicity story, I was just thinking. I got a text earlier from somebody. Actually, I was looking at their text from like 2 days ago, and just thinking about it, like, okay, just going through my text, and literally like 30 seconds later, like the guy texts me from 2 days ago, and I was like, oh man, I missed the text, or I forgot what I was thinking about. Yeah, 30 seconds later, he sends me a text, and he's like, this is somebody I don't even talk to very much. And he's like, oh, we're getting stronger, our connection is going to get stronger, like the source, every single day. I don't know, it was just, I don't know, every single day, man, I feel like it's getting stronger, like he said, so.
It's going to be. It's going to continue, man. It's not going to stop. Like
The wave, it's waving.
yeah, you know, like, God, so fucking awesome.
Listen for that sound of a pyramid. I will too.
Yeah.
Damn right. Absolutely, man. Focus on the sound of the pyramid and creating intimate connections with everybody.
Namaste.
Alright.
Damn right. I love it.
Cool, awesome. Well, Kyle, thanks again, man. And again, for people listening to this, Kyle is in the Delaware area, and you can just run a Facebook search on Paradigm Shift Delaware, and again, check in the future on the team map. You'll be able to see it listed through there, and also you'll be able to find his notes through the show information to be able to connect to him on Facebook. But dude, yeah, again, that's really exciting to be able to just hear that as another example. And rooting this back, I want to be able to just get into my free hug story, and then we'll keep passing this around. And I know Roman jumped in, and I do want to be able to actually pass it over to Bren next after this. And then even if Rebecca wants to jump in after that, and then Roman, I mean, jump in here and there and everything like that. But again, the big reason as to why I was inspired to be able to help create this entire project is multiple things. But yes, it's to be able to create a space and create a community where we can encourage ourselves to continue to develop on our spiritual path. But at the same time, this is really about the visual metaphor of each of us climbing up a mountain. And as we're climbing up a mountain, we're reaching our hands back to those who are behind us, who are climbing up the mountain in their own way. And so, I mean, it's important to be able to focus on your own spiritual path, but understand that for many of us, part of our spiritual path is helping others and understanding that those others are still us, bringing it into the Buddha nature where you see the suffering of others as the suffering of yourself. Therefore, you're trying to be of service to them. And that was what we were talking about earlier when Michelle was talking, just the idea of you showing up can totally change someone else's reality. So, I mean, that is our goal, is to know that through our individual actions, it can change the pathways of someone else's life by simply inviting them to take part in a physical paradigm shift community, or even just within the digital realms of the community. Because I mean, for a lot of people, again, there's always going to be young people who are going to be about 15, 16 years old, who are just getting to the point where they're reaching that young adolescence, and they're starting to ask the big questions, but they don't necessarily have the community to support them in doing it. And so they're sort of in this limbo stage. And so if we can be there to just be able to be, again, a friend, a mentor, a leader, an example, a light beacon, and for them to have that at their point can be such an important thing, because it helps accelerate things within a very important way. And again, knowing that in a lot of cases, the shift in consciousness, it's, as Kyle says, the big part of being a shifter is being very ninja about things. And when you're going and you're talking to other people about things, be mindful of how you're communicating to yourself, because this is, it was funny, there was another post that was going on and everything like that, and it was not even to get into what it was about, but it made me prompt with a response, and I said, the only true evil is forcing your beliefs on someone else. And I mean, obviously, that's not to say there aren't other evils and stuff like that, but I'm just keep saying that as a reminder to myself, right? That any of us, we can say hey, this is my experience, this is information, and that is essentially what the paradigm shift communities are about. It's creating people, it's bringing people into a space and inviting them to think for themselves, and you're creating that psychological playground where they can do that, where they can start asking questions and they can start connecting the dots in their own way. So again, the paradigm shift communities at their very core are simple in the sense that they're about regular open-minded discussion and meditation circles. And then within there, you start talking about all the metaphysical ideas, the spirituality, and even just being there to talk about the everyday things, like inspiration, and talking about, maybe challenges, and talking about just healing, and being able to do meditation together, and talking about dream exploration. And so it's really just a slow and steady process, but over time, it really brings people into more of themselves, and that is essentially what this shift is about each of us stepping into more of who we came here to be. So leading by example is the way how we do that, by becoming who we are in that deeper, you know, this is when we were talking about the dream class and that idea of like integrating our higher self with our physical self. That is a big part of this quest right now, is understanding that we are multidimensional beings by nature, and understanding that there's so much more to us than just what's the physical egoic identity, and bringing in more of an understanding of who we are in terms of understanding our future self as well. And that is like this idea of just like we are catching up with our future self. So meditate on that idea. What does your future self look like? What has your future self done? And know that your future self, for those who hear the call and answer it, have already created those communities, have already created those connections. So that's the thing that inspired me to do this, was knowing that the synchronicity was there, knowing that the universe wanted this to happen, and simply by putting out that intention, it does happen. And sometimes it can happen very quickly. Again, you know, through the free hugs tactics, it's a way for us to literally hack the matrix, and we can connect community and build community so fast now through the tactics that we are working with. So I want to be able to share with you guys a bit about the recent free hugs shiftivism that happened here within our city, and then we'll pass it around. I think Bren will be the next person. But just in terms of like some logistics within the Paradigm Shift London, so again, I'm in London, Ontario, Canada. Paradigm Shift London, that's the first Paradigm Shift community group that showed up on the map. We've been having a lot of our meetings in the park actually recently. Normally we would do them in the yoga studio, but just because the weather's been nice, we've been doing them in the park. And so again, you know, that's a simple thing for other people to be able to do too. You don't need a yoga studio, especially during this nice weather and into the fall, while you're still able to invite people to meet up at the park. And then again, you sit down and you facilitate discussion. And just as a simple tip for those of you who may be brand new, one of the ways that you can facilitate a discussion is that you can bring ideas into the circle, and then you introduce the rule that when people have something to add, they simply hold their hand out with the palm up. So that way it's like offering something to the circle. So that way it just prevents people from talking over each other, and it's about practice. It's really about practice. It's not just about like, oh, you know, like feel like you're under pressure to say something intelligent. Like, no, this is about practicing talking about the things that we don't normally get a chance to talk about, so that way people take the shift with them beyond the immediate circles. And so we've been having our meetings in the park recently, and those have been going well. And the yoga studio that we'd normally been having them at is actually going through some changes, so it sounds like we actually won't be able to have our regular meetings there come at the end of August. So that's actually something that I'm having to deal with in terms of just like adjusting to that, and like choosing to still be positive about the idea that like something will come up and we'll manage, and knowing that this is just, you know, adapt and overcome kind of thing. Don't get too, like, opposed to getting too like upset about the idea that we won't have access to that studio anymore. We'll still be able to manage. And again, so using the park in that sense, and adapting and overcoming and finding a new location, that's some of the things that are happening within the Paradigm Shift London community. And one of the things that happened just before the free hug story is that when I was at Friday, on the last Friday when we had our shift meeting, I ran into a friend afterwards who didn't make it to the meeting, but we still talked for a while, and they were saying, you know, like, oh, like I've really been wanting to make it out to the meetings, but I've always just been really busy. And just the way that they communicated this to me, they just genuinely expressed their appreciation, and they said, you know, like, I was talking to another one of my friends, and we were just talking about Paradigm Shift and how much we miss it, and just saying, you know, we really want to be able to get back out there again, because in a lot of ways, like, the Paradigm Shift community, as it's grown over the years, it's connected a lot of people who within my community I am like very close friends with, and it's a real family, it's a real tribe, it's that reuniting of the soul family. So I mean, it was really special for me to hear her say this, and for her to say this in her own way, when she was just like, you know, like, I want you to know that even though I haven't been at the meetings, like, I'm still like living the paradigm shift where I go, which is, you know, kind of what I just said, but she said it in her own way, and I was just like, yeah, you know, that's exactly what this is about. The meetings are a place to inspire people, and then to inspire them to choose to be the change that they wish to see in the world. Like, that is like the core of this project, to encourage all of us to choose to be the change that we wish to see in the world, knowing that it is a choice. So like that, you know, Gandhi says, Gandhi, shout out to Gandhi right there, be the change you wish to see in the world, but know that it's a choice. choosing is what this is about. So it's like that stepping into. So again, you know, just knowing that the paradigm shift communities, they're about the open-minded discussions, but it's knowing that it's like the ripples that happen beyond that and what people carry with them into their communities in terms of personal mindfulness and the individual conversations that they'll have that you may never even see. So that there's that. And yeah, from there, let me just tell you a little bit about the recent free hug Shiftivism. So again, you know, for people in the project, at this point, you're probably familiar, but again, you know, we really encourage people to do things like free hugs to hack the matrix, and also using the shift buttons. So again, the shift buttons have the website on them, so they're a holographic tool to be able to give to people when you do things like free hugs or at any point, and to be able to link them up with the Paradigm Shift Central website and your local shift community and all of the online projects and the videos and the Awakening Within the Matrix in 5 minutes introduction video, the Journey to Lucidity movies, Kyle's quest journals, your quest journals. You see how this works, and obviously the future broadcasts and everything. So when we do free hugs, again, you know, when we're doing free hugs, just reminding everyone is that, like, doing a free hug in itself is really important. It's about spreading compassion. It's about spreading love. It's about creating that love moment, the heart-to-heart connection in the present moment, something that the world needs more of. When you can give someone a hug and then afterwards you can give them a gift of a button afterwards, it creates a deeper impression that connects them beyond the present moment and allows them to stay connected with the project in the future. So that's why we sort of refer to it as hacking the matrix, and we refer to it as Hugs 2.0, because it has that additional impact that is lasting. And so what we were doing is that there was a festival that was happening here in London, and it was a really big festival called Sunfest, and there were so many people out there, and it was just like a big thing. And we had a drum circle that day because we normally have drum circles in the park at 3 p.m. on Saturdays, and that in itself is like a thing that I invite you guys to do. You know, in addition to shift meetings in the regular format, organizing drum circles is like totally a thing too, and maybe your shift meeting can be a drum circle at the same time. It can be both in a way. And so there's a drum circle, and I documented this, and this is actually a video that I'm working on, is this whole story of like the drum circle and then doing free hugs. And then so the first thing that I want to mention is that, like, what was really cool is that I showed up there to do free hugs with my friends and to just like invite them to join me in doing it, is that on that day throughout the festival there was actually 3 separate groups who showed up to do free hugs that day. There was us, Paradigm Shift, and there were 2 other groups who were doing it out of their own desire to do it. And I was just like, hell yeah, you know, because that's what it was about. And in the previous years, I had done free hugs at the festival, and as far as I know, in the past year that I was there, I was the only one doing it. And so, I mean, to know that just from like then to now, suddenly like all of these other people are doing free hugs and they're realizing the difference that it is making is like such a cool thing. So that is like a really cool part that I just wanted to share. It's the idea that like free hugs is like this emerging thing that's coming up through the collective. It's like a meme. It's catching on, and obviously it's catching on the more we do it, and it's catching on through social media. A lot of people are familiar with free hugs, seen lots of videos that have millions of views, and the Free Hugs project is like a big thing and all that. So one thing that actually happened that was really cool when we were doing free hugs, so we were doing lots of free hugs, giving out shift buttons, connecting people, hacking the matrix, awesome stuff. And there's 2. So yeah, okay, so one of the first things that happened was I always bring extra free hug signs with me. Like, I literally print them off, and again, these are available through the website under the Shift Tools. Under Tools, you can go to Shift Tools, and you can actually see the file to print off the free hug sign, which is this free hug sign, and like it's just like something you can print off on like cardstock, but you can see it has like the flower of life behind it. So like even when people like from a distance don't really see it, they're still seeing the flower of life. So there's like some additional like symbolism code imprinted into the image of the free hug signs. So again, you know, anybody who's watching this, you can print those off. Just go to your local photocopy place, print place, and you can print off a bunch of those. I always have a bunch of them in my bag. So we were doing free hugs, and then the first thing that happened is we were doing free hugs, and there was like this family, and they had 3 girls, 3 like little girls, you know, like less than 10 years old. They all came up and they were super excited, and they hugged me, and then they were so excited about it. it, and I was just like, hey, like, do you guys want a sign? Like, take it with you, you know? Like, and they were just like, oh my god, like, yeah. And then so they did it. They took the signs with them, and I literally gave like each of them a sign, and then they took the signs with them throughout the festival. And I don't know exactly what happened after that, but like that was that, you know? Like, they literally, like, it was exciting to see the young kids get so excited about free hugs, and just being able to do that, to be able to help create that reality where they took that with them. And who knows what happened after that, right? And then later on, there was also some other people who came up to us, and they started doing free hugs with us. They got involved, and they were like younger teenagers, and then afterwards I gave them signs to take with them, and they took them with them. And then another cool part was then there were these volunteers of the festival, and they came up and they did free hugs, and again, like, they were probably just like teenagers as well, and they just stopped and they talked, and they were just like, you know, this is really cool, like, I'm really excited. We ran into each other. And then the really cool thing is that later in the day, I was like not doing free hugs, and I was walking around with a couple friends, and then I came back to near the spot where we were originally doing free hugs, and those two people, the two volunteers, it was a guy and a girl, they were doing free hugs using 2 free hug signs that they had made out of cardboard. And so I was just like, hell yeah, you know, like they literally just like, they continued the ripple effect. So like, that was like the ripple effect in action. So like, I stopped with them, and that was like the picture I put up on Facebook earlier in the week, and like, that in itself was like such a cool thing to see how all of our actions make this ripple effect, you know? Like, it inspires people. People see you doing free hugs, and you never know how far that may go. Even just that one hug can always make such a deep impact. And so that was a really cool thing that I just wanted to share with you guys, reminding you guys of the ripple effect, and knowing that like, your free hugs can inspire future free hugs and future compassion and more of what this world needs. And that is what this project is about. And then the last part that I just want to share is that later on in the evening, I was doing free hugs literally by myself, and like, the festival was wrapping up. It was like past like 11 o'clock. The music was shutting down, and people were kind of leaving, and I was kind of there, like, in the presence of just like holding space, you know? Like, I was making sure that everything was okay. Like, some people were like a little rowdy and stuff like that, but I was just like holding space, and I really like kind of like tapped into that sort of like superhero archetype, where like, I was just kind of keeping an eye on everything, you know? Like, I was kind of doing the vibe patrol, and I was just like being there as a presence. And then so what actually happened, you know, I did a few free hugs there, but then there was one person in particular who came up to me, and they gave me a free hug, and it really, really, really meant something to them. And this person, they didn't speak a lot of English. They were from Colombia, I believe. And basically, you know, like, they were just saying to me, they were just like, thank you so much. Like, I love you. I love you. Like, that was like the most like coherent like English piece of dialogue that they were able to say to me over and over again. And it was like this younger girl who maybe was just like in, you know, like maybe 20 years old and stuff like that. But again, you know, like, we stood there and we talked, not necessarily like, you know, as much as we could, but it was really like a heart-to-heart thing, an eye-to-eye thing. And then eventually, like, she began to open up to me, and she was saying, you know, like, that she has only been in Canada for like less than a year, and that back in Colombia, like, her family, from what I understand, from what I was able to interpret, her family was actually killed in like a car explosion of a sort, and she was actually in it. And then it was showing me like the scars that she had on her arm and on her body and everything like that. So like, here it was, just like, you know, like, one person who maybe it had been quite some time since they had actually like had a hug like that, and we hugged like multiple times, you know, like, literally, like, I probably hugged her probably like 10 different times within the time that we were talking there. And she was a little bit like drunk, but also like very present, and then like kind of like starting to cry and everything like that. But again, it just reminded me of this idea, because like, even at that moment, it was right around 11:11 that this happened, and I was just like, you know, part of me could have went home, but I was just like, no, like, I'm gonna choose to be here at this moment, just in case, just because like, I don't know. And lo and behold, like, that is what needed to happen. And that girl, like, you know, like, and I connected with her and I invited her out to the paradigm shift meetings. And then afterwards, as I was like walking back to my car, like I invited her to walk with me and I gave her the free hug sign. And then we started walking through the park, and then we ended up giving a couple other people free hugs. So like here it was where like she was coming up to me with free hugs, and now suddenly she's the one giving free hugs. So it's just like this immediate sort of like, again, ripple effect. And so like that to me was just such a powerful thing, just reminding us to like what it is that we are doing as light guardians, as shifters, to be there for people who are going through their own healing. And that is like such an important thing, and that is what I feel we are doing, is that with each and every hug we are literally healing the planet. We are literally healing Gaia. We are healing Gaia through our own healing, and that is like such a very powerful thing. So that's basically what I wanted to be able to share with you guys, the fact that like as an admin, as a shifter, that's what happened, and that's me like sharing my documentation with you. It's again to be able to give an example and to invite and encourage anyone listening to this to get involved with Shiftivism as a shifter, to intentionally help shift consciousness and do things like free hugs, and knowing that it's not just about free hugs, it's just about showing up for community, showing up for friends, and being there, being the vibe patrol. So yeah, that's what I want to share with you guys. So thank you so much, everyone. You know, I love you guys, and just so much. So we're making a difference, guys, and yeah, I'm excited to see where things continue to go. So just opening up the microphones, if anybody had any like comments or responses on anything to that, feel free to just express yourself in this moment. But otherwise we'll just keep bouncing around and stuff like that. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, like, you know, like it was a good reminder. It was a good like visceral reminder to just like in that moment really connecting with that girl, like how much it meant to her and everything like that. So you never know like where people are at, right? Everyone's sort of like this like fracture of the divine. Everyone's sort of like got their own wounds and everything, and that is like, yeah, we don't have to be completely healed in order to help other people heal. And a lot of times for us to do free hugs is a way for us to like step into our own healing. Like sometimes, you know, I've said that to other people, if they're feeling down, if they're feeling depressed, to inviting them to go do free hugs, you know, instead, if they were just like, oh, you know, like I could really use a free hug right now, it's just like, you could be the person to go out there and do free hugs, and then you'll find someone else who may be in like a similar situation from you, and suddenly you're the one like helping make a difference in their life, and suddenly that like brings you into like a place of your own healing as well. So yeah, the superpower of the free hugs, that's what it's about. So superpower of the heart, superheroes unite. So cool. So yeah, any thoughts? Or Brianna, go ahead. Yeah.
I think that's really awesome. Actually, Nick is wearing one of the Paradigm Shift Free Hug shirts.
Oh, yeah.
If you could show
I noticed that, yeah.
That's awesome. Has some sacred geometry on it.
Yeah.
Definitely, when wearing it, you feel even more high vibe. So yeah, I actually got my first Paradigm Shift button package with all the cool shift buttons, and oh yeah, Nick's wearing one too. You just got all the gear on right
Yeah,
now.
I guess so. I'm rocking Paradigm Shift pretty hard right now.
And I do have some of the signs as well, so just got to get downtown on those street corners. But yeah, it's great that you had such an amazing, powerful experience, and it is time to really like amplify our personal energy centers, and then go stand out on a street corner and just turn all white and bright and spread our light, you know?
I dig it. Cool, awesome. Well, yeah, no, thanks again, guys. Thank you. I'm glad you got your Shifter Booster Kit, and again, reminding people that they are on their way as the project continues to evolve, and the team Patreon, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But just in reference to the free hug shirts, just while we're on the topic, shirt-wise, the Open Your Heart shirts, so again, these are the Flower Life that says Open Your Heart. Again, great addition to free hug missions. Those are available within the current campaign that wraps up on Monday, and those are at teespring.com patreon.com/open your heart. But in addition to that, the free hug shirts that oh, Brianna's got hers on as well. Everybody's wearing the shirt. The free hug shirt that Nick is wearing and that you've seen me wear in the red variation as well. Those are also available, and those are at teespring.com/free love hugs. And I can post a link for those into the show notes as well. And that campaign wraps up next Tuesday or next Monday. So that would be like on the 20-something-ish, give or take. So that will be on, what day will that be on? On the 26th or 25th. So again, if you, that's just one way to be able to get your gear and to also be able to help support the team through the team crowdfunding, through the shirt crowdfunding. And I will just mention now, just to be able to do it as we continue to move on. So again, guys, just for the people listening to this, inviting you guys to be able to check out and sign up for the team Patreon at patreon.com/Brendon Culliton to sign up for the monthly support squad to be able to help support the project. And as little as $3 a month goes a huge way, and signing up gets you the Shifter Booster Kit, which comes with as many shift buttons as you ask for, so that you can add shift buttons to your free hugs adventures and use those as your Pokeballs to be able to help connect with other shifters where you are within this real world game to help shift consciousness. And we're currently working towards our monthly goal of going up 100 each month, and we're working towards 700, and we are currently at 627. And again, just check that out, bookmark the site, and sign up when you can. And signing up for that also gives you additional access to the hidden videos, including the 3-hour version of my video working with 5 grams of sacred mushrooms as well. And again, you know, just like from a behind the scenes, guys, like I can tell you, like I've been working hard on Paradigm Shift for obviously quite some time, and then I just mean sort of like especially in the last like weeks and stuff like that. It is a full-time job, and that's like part of what the team crowdfunding goes towards, is like the time that it takes to produce this project and to be able to manage it as a director, and ultimately to be able to evolve it for the entire community. And once we get up to 1,000, then that will actually be able to unlock like pretty much unlimited free shift buttons for the entire community, which is like what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to have like a pool of shift buttons where people can go to the website and they can literally like order them for free. And like that is like the idea. So, you know, people who may just not be like financially in the place to like, you know, people can still order them and pay money, but you know, if people are just like, yeah, I'd really just like to get like, you know, like 10 or 15 or something like that, like they can order that, and it's made possible because of our collective support through the team Patreon. So again, once we get up to 1,000, that feature will be unlocked within the game. So a little incentive there that I, for one, am definitely looking forward to as well. So again, patreon.com/Brendon Culliton. Sign up for that when you can, and as little as $3 a month goes a long way. And signing up for more than $3 adds the Love One massage tools to your kit, which are the tools to be able to help assist in your healing processes, and are also designed for sensual purposes and are great when used with a partner. And don't leave them in hot cars, or else they might like sort of become like less stable and the crystals might fall out. I think that's what happened to Brianna's actually. So, but yeah, so that said, thank you so much everyone for syncing up to this project and for signing up for the team Patreon when you can, because in addition, beyond the team Patreon, you know, the objective with this project is to keep everything as accessible and as free as possible. So signing up for the website with your profile to be able to submit content as your quest journals, that's all free. And again, you know, I just want to take a moment here to give a shout out to the quest journals, because those have really been going well. And shout out to Kyle, because he was talking about his quest journals earlier, and he's written a couple within the last couple weeks, and both of them have averaged out to about like 400 views, which is awesome, you know, and like they were going up like over like 100 within like the first couple days. So shout out to Kyle for being able to do that, and knowing that the way how this project works, again, as a social media platform, like we document our shift in consciousness, we create quest journals, we document our intentions, our synchronicity logs, our dream journals, sharing our videos, our art. This is a platform where it helps all of us get our voices out, and every time that we do something through the website, it links people back on the website, which links them back into everyone's project. So you can see it's a very unique model that we have, where it's this idea that as the water rises, so does every ship. So super exciting. So yeah, with that said, well, let's keep things moving along, and if anybody has any other questions, and definitely looking forward to more ongoing aspects, including the conscious media that we're going to be getting more into in the future. But we'll keep talking about that as things keep unfolding. So with that said, let's pass things around to Bren, and I will just say, let's try and keep a cap on this episode no later than 2 a.m. It seems that like it's pretty much next to impossible for us to do a broadcast that's like less than 4 hours. That's just like how it goes these days. So, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll make it 3.5. So, but near the end of the episode, we'll do a tarot card reading and end with a short meditation as well. But yeah, so let's pass over to Brendon. Again, Bren had originally been involved with the project quite a few years ago, and as she mentioned in the past Dream class, she's been busy in her own quest, and definitely give us she's going to be able to give us a little update in terms of any. At this point, Bren, we'll just ask you, like, who are you, where are you, and what have you been involved with in terms of helping shift consciousness and creating and involvement with conscious community and creating conscious community, and if you have like intentions on creating any particular shift communities in the future. So, Bren, welcome back to the project. It's good to see you, and go ahead. We'll pass the talking stick over to you.
Thanks. Yeah, so my name's Brenna. Some of you might know me as Bren Blank. I was initially heavily involved in the spirit science community in the early stages of it. I was a moderator on the forum and heavily involved in the chat, and I even had my own video series going for a while. But then I ended up going to college at Warren Wilson College in Asheville, North Carolina, and got involved more on the ground and face-to-face with people in the spiritual community in Asheville, which is big, as I'm sure a lot of you know. And I was part of the wellness program on my school's campus, and as part of my duties there, I did a lot of energy work and gatherings and meditation, and I had a wonderful experience and kind of disentangled myself from the internet side of things for a really long time. But I recently graduated, and I'm going out to Washington State for grad school soon. Yay. And I'm hoping to find a community there so I can continue having face-to-face spiritual conversations and interactions. I'm hoping to start a shift community there, something that meets once a week for conversations and meditation. So yeah.
Cool. I was gonna say, like, what do you feel that you've learned over the past while with your involvement with spiritual communities? Do you feel that it's like allowed you to in some ways discover more of yourself in terms of stepping into the role as a community leader and community facilitator moving forward?
Definitely. Although when I was in Asheville, I wasn't taking on too much of a leadership role because there are a ton of spiritual leaders in that area, and I was kind of just soaking up that experience and meeting lots of new people. Yeah, but I've definitely changed and grown a lot, and I'm really excited to continue on that process, especially in an area that has less of a developed spiritual community, to kind of bring that together.
Awesome. Well, sweet, Bren. Thanks for swinging by again. And I was also going to say, within again this project, it's a broadcast network in a way. And are we going to be able to look forward to future videos from yourself? Is that something you might be getting back into, do you think?
We'll see how things go. I'm going to be in a PhD program, so I'll be pretty busy. And my main goal will definitely be starting more hands-on face-to-face community in the area, and then if I have the time and I feel called to, I'll start those videos up again.
Awesome, sweet. Well, that's cool. And again, for yourself and for anybody, sometimes you're right. Like, videos can take a lot of commitment, but at the same time, if you have the opportunity to write out a couple paragraphs in terms of your own something for a quest journal, then absolutely, Bren, we'd be more than happy to be able to help you document that and to be able to have you share your story, because again, with the quest journals, guys, never underestimate how powerful they are in terms of inspiring someone else who hears about your story as to how you helped do whatever you did where you are, or again, you know, it's not just about creating a community. It can really be a reflection or a vision or an idea about anything. So Bren, I'm sure you're skilled as a writer. So again, just inviting yourself to, and anybody to please feel free to use the platform to be able to create quest journals and conscious articles moving into the future. So yeah. So Brendon, is anything else that you want to share in terms of maybe future intentions, or just a message out there for the shifters listening as to how we, you know, what we're doing and how we help change the world and stuff like that?
Just remember to keep breathing. It'll always bring you back to your center and your higher self, and that's the path you need to follow.
Awesome. Sweet. Cool. Well, thanks again, Bren. And totally, it's good to be able to see. That's like, honestly, the exciting thing about the Paradigm Shift project is that over the years, multiple people have sort of like weaved in and out of it. You know, like they'll be involved and then they sort of disappear and then they come back. And again, in the same way that the actual physical Paradigm Shift communities work that way, where, you know, someone will like come out to a meeting and then they won't be able to come out, but then they'll come out again in the future. And so it's just like having that open door is such an awesome thing, and that's like a really cool thing to be able to just like see people coming and going. And so yeah, no, it's exciting. I honestly, I didn't know if we would ever see you again, and then one day you just showed up in Dream Class, and now here you are. So ta-da.
You showed up in our dreams. You showed
in our
up
dreams. Yes, exactly. Cool.
I love you
Awesome.
so much.
Oh, I love you. Yeah, I'm definitely glad to be back, and I'm hoping I'll stick around a little longer this time.
Cool. Awesome. Sweet. Okay, so with that said, we'll keep bouncing things around, and again, you know, like for people as we're bouncing things around, you can sort of the conversation again, you know, in terms of like total free flow conversation, that happens more within the dream classes and the team building hangouts and the Destiny class, which again are on the other Thursdays. And just as a reminder for the schedules for people, just taking a moment here to address like social media. Social media and Facebook is like incredibly gimped these days is the best way I can describe it. So like when we're trying to like tell people about live broadcasts, it doesn't really get out there in the same way that's effective. You know, like we have a page with like 10,000 people on it, yet our posts only reach, you know, like maybe like 50 if we're lucky, sort of thing. So therefore, if you're expecting to like get updates on the Paradigm Shift community, one of the ways that you can do that is through the main website. You can get the desktop notifications when you click the thing in the bottom left that's like a little red bell icon on your desktop, but not on mobile devices yet. Another way is to go to facebook.com/Paradigm Shift LiveNet and get the auto notifications through there by clicking it to see first. So again, facebook.com/Paradigm Shift LiveNet to do that. And sorry, I was just going to say real quick, Brianna, and in addition, ultimately, the most important notifications of all are the notifications of your own mind through routine and schedule. So to keep things simple for everyone, the calendar on the website is pretty consistent in terms of the schedule of things, and the basic schedule of things, knowing that this is like, you know, you can come and you can check out and you know when new content's going online beyond just the quest journals. The quest journals and the conscious articles, you can just go to the main website and see what's new, for one thing, because it's pretty easy to navigate in that sense, and you'll always see them within the feed up at the top. But is the basic schedule is that, so it's 2 Tuesdays in a row are team building hangouts, and those are very open-ended and just a place for us to talk about projects we're working on and any metaphysical discussion and get to know each other a little bit more and talk about really anything. And then the next Tuesday after that, so it's two team building classes in a row, and then Destiny School is the next Thursday, and each one is 9 p.m. EST is kind of the show up time, and then the broadcast starts a little bit after that. And then so it's 2 team building classes, and then the third one is Destiny School, and again, those are particular hangouts related to particular topics. And as I mentioned, the next one is going to be on love and sacred sexuality, and the previous ones that we did were on sacred geometry, on health and fitness, on meditation, and on lucid dreaming. And on the 4th Thursday within this order of things is the admin hangouts, which is what this is, again, focusing on the sort of the on the ground action of creating those physical communities where we are. And of course, if you're looking for more information on creating a physical Paradigm Shift community, definitely go back and check out previous admin hangout videos and recordings as well. and just reminding you that any of the live broadcasts you can download as MP3s and just upload them to your MP3 player and use them while you're doing chores and walking around the house and walking around town. That's what I do personally. And yeah, like I just spent like I was listening to last night's dream class, or the dream class from earlier in the week, while like doing grocery shopping, and it was like really enjoyable, honestly. Like I was really getting a good time listening to it. And then so team building hangout, Destiny School, admin meeting, and then every other Tuesday is dream class. And that's pretty much it. And then on full moons is the global meditations. And so the next full moon is on July 19th, which is one day after my birthday. And stay tuned for that, because there's going to be a pretty exciting global journey meditation. And again, those meditations are much more than just regular meditations. They're like first-person dreams, first-person stories, first-person movies in a sense. And they really help us tap into deeper parts of ourselves. And they can be very visceral, opening, and even psychedelic. So again, that's a basic schedule, and just reminding you guys that that's on the website, and reminding you guys to check back to the main website whenever you feel like it, to be able to see what's new in terms of the quest journals, and also encouraging you to jump into the live chat and say hello. So for people who are actually listening to this right now, jump into the live chat and leave an 1111 in the live chat if you would like, and just let us know that you're tuned into this. And again, for people listening to this in the future, please feel free to leave your comments either on the YouTube video or directly on the website, and just let us know that you're tuned into this. Again, you know, like I mentioned, that the social media thing, it's challenging, like it really is, guys, and that's where it takes it's also bringing into call the idea that we have to work together. So I mean, for you guys in this class and for people listening to this, sharing the show is such a huge thing to be able to help like continue to just like get the word out there. As it is, the recordings for the show average like live and post listens between all the platforms, the YouTube and the Blog Talk Radio, close to about 1,000 per class over a period of time. But we'd like to continue to bring that up. So especially as we start doing more of the global meditations, I have the dream of being able to have like 10,000 people tuned in for global meditation in the future. So I mean, it may take a while, but it does happen one step at a time. I was just going to say, Brianna, are you heading out? If so, did you want to say goodnight? Yeah, okay. Brianna, passing it over to you guys if you guys just want to, any goodnight message for the shifters out there?
Well, first I guess I wanted to say that step into your power right now at this time. Like when you feel called or feeling called, like there's like this huge rush of energy, and if you don't know what to do with it, kind of just go to your breath, like Bren said, but let it guide you in that way. But really, just like step into your power. That's basically all I had to say.
I think that's great. I think that you know, as we continue to shift into higher dimensions of our reality, that it's great that there's a community here that people can engage in, and it's great that there's so many different shows for people to get involved with. So yeah, definitely stay tuned to whatever's next. You know, paradigm shift.
I'm excited to play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. You guys are rocking it.
Yeah, loving you guys.
Sweet.
Yeah, so
well,
stay healthy, stay light, and don't give up the fight. Breezy, ow!
You guys be safe.
Breezy, ow!
That's awesome. You guys be
Cool.
good.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks again, guys, and thank you for leading by example. And I look forward to hearing about your future Shiftivism adventures. So, and your Golden Gaian adventures.
Yes. I love seeing Breezy and Nick. They're like the perfect combined human being or something. Wow. That's awesome. That's completely amazing. That's awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, you guys keep doing your thing. Love you guys.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Much love.
All right. Peace out. Peace hole.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
All right. Okay, so yeah, let's keep things bouncing around, and yeah, again, just reminding people that through the social media, like honestly, Facebook sucks. Facebook sucks. Like, I mean, I know it's there and I know it's good, but at the same time it sucks. And another thing, just like in terms of like the challenges with the social media, we have like a global email list. Those email lists, like again, you know, just because email lists are such a tricky thing these days, we have an email list of like over 800 people. I send out the emails and I try to keep them like as non-spammy as possible, but on average, like our emails are like opened by about like 50-ish people per each one that we send out, and that's just because like things get dropped into the spam box by accident, and that's not even something that we can control. So I mean, for people who are signed up through the email list, again, just encouraging people to just like check the main website directly. That is just like one of the best ways to do it, and to familiarize themselves with the schedule. Yeah, so that's just again, thank you everyone for helping with this in this incredibly bizarre time of the technological age of social media, which is calling us into our action to be able to make the most of it. So cool. Cool. And I just want to give a shout out. Bren went to sleep as well, so thanks again to Bren for tuning in, and again, for anybody interested, you can connect with them through their Facebooks in the show notes as well. So with that said, we'll keep bouncing things around, and we do have again a new player who has been a part of this hangout, who has obviously been listening for this one, and that's Rebecca. So Rebecca, would you like to introduce yourself and maybe talk a little bit about any community involvements that you've been doing, or any shiftivism activities, or how you've been helping shift consciousness, or any intentions that you have in terms of like being able to create a shift community where you are in Sarnia? So Rebecca, if you're there, feel free to unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the people listening. If Rebecca's there, it's quite possibly that she may or may not be. So if not, that's okay. So okay,
Why
so
are you sleeping?
yeah, no, that's what I mean. It could just be late. So that's not a problem. We'll be able to catch up with her later. So again, you know, for people listening to this, if you want to get involved with it as an admin, just reminding you guys to go to the tools on the website, and then go to the admin sign up form, and go there and fill out that form, and then we'll be able to keep in touch that way, and we'll be updating things more on the website as we continue to evolve the project. So with that said, we do have also Michael Pratt, who is involved in the Hangout, and he's been in the recent Paradigm Shift Dream classes as well. So Michael, are you there? We'll check in with you if you're in the Hangout.
Yeah, I'm here.
Flying on your Nimbus cloud. Cool, man. Sweet. Well, Michael, welcome to the admin hangout, and obviously, like within the themes of like what this broadcast is about, is there anything related to like being an admin that you want to talk about? Like, I'm not sure if you are involved in like other community classes online and things like that. But do you have like any things in the work in terms of like physical community meetings that you're involved with facilitating currently? And this is just me genuinely asking because I'm not entirely familiar with what you're up to. So if you just want to fill us in on what you're up to these days.
Most of my contribution towards paradigm shift and that type of thing, most of what I
Sorry,
do...
Michael, I was just going to say, if you can just move your microphone closer. Your microphone's traditionally pretty low, so...
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
If that's as good as it gets, yeah, because I boosted it on the back end too, but yeah.
How about
it's
now?
Okay. It kind of sounds the same, but that's okay, though. As best as you can make it is good, so...
Okay. Well, as far as my contributions towards paradigm shift and that kind of thing, most of what I do is online. So I would do like you know, I helped quite a few people out on Teal Tribe. You know, I give them like energy healing sessions and stuff like that, and I'm kind of similar to kind of what Teal Swan and Infinite Waters, if you guys have heard of them, kind of what they do. I mean, it's not like I don't have green screens in the background and stuff like that, but that's kind of what I do. And pushing along the lines of human evolution and that kind of thing. But most of my contributions and stuff is online. As far as things in my community, it's quite uh, it's quite difficult. I mean, as far as trying to get something going, because there's like churches on both sides of my neighborhood, which there's nothing wrong with that. But once in a while, I'll be doing like qigong or something like that, and some people will look and say, "Hey, what's that?" or "What are you doing?" Uh,
You
but
stop that heathen witchery right now.
yeah, it's hard to say, because the part I live in, Austin, there's different parts of Austin that's like more open-minded, I guess, and definitely the southern part of this, the south part of Austin is like where a friend of mine, Bonnie, stays at, and she's like, wow, it's so much more open-minded uh, over here. Um, but where I live, it's kind of like I'm Merlin, kind of like Merlin, in a place with a bunch of they're cool people. They're just playing sports and just doing regular things, exploring their consciousness and the ways they know how, I guess. So just regular stuff.
Word. Word, man. Cool.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and again, Michael, like in the future, would you like be interested in like helping organize like a shift community where you are, just in the sense of like having, the open-minded discussion meditation circles? Like, is that something that you would want to be able to attempt, and like, and because I mean, the fact that, like, honestly, again, for anybody listening to this, like, a shift community can be created anywhere, and in the places where it may seem like it's like less likely to be able to make one are perhaps the places where we need them the most, in a way. So I mean, is that something that you would see yourself focusing on, or do you just feel more comfortable kind of just like doing what you're doing more through like the online presence and other things?
Well, I would say, as far as right now, the for the most for the largest amount of people getting into that kind of thing, um, would be most efficient online. But I mean, it's like it is. It's like, sometimes, there's this one time I was at the gym and I was just doing qigong, and some person looked up and was like, "Wow, you know, what was that?" And so that's kind of how I get it. But I try to do it in a way that's not really preachy. It's kind of like, if somebody resonates with it, then it's like, I'll be like, I'll tell them, what it's about, and then if they're interested in joining this kind of thing, because there's all kinds of people. There's Jehovah Witnesses. There's all kinds of. So I'm just mindful about, I guess, who I connect with in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, word, man. Yeah, and again, like what we mentioned earlier, like the Paradigm Shift Project is like bringing the shift with you anywhere you go. So whether you're actually creating like the physical meetups or just kind of like doing it on a one-to-one basis, like the shifter is anyone, anywhere, at any moment, kind of thing. The shifter is like like you like waiting at a bus stop talking to someone or something like that.
Well, I do plenty of that. Well, especially when I was in college, I had that was a good place where I would meet a lot more people that were interested in that kind of thing. And so college was a pretty good place for that. But yeah, I just have kind of a busy schedule. I mean, I'm on vacation right now, but I try to whenever I meet somebody, you know, that's in the area that seems interested in that kind of stuff, I try to kind of, you know, share.
Yeah.
So,
Word, man. Sweet, sweet. Well, dude, again, thank you for joining in, and I know like we've been connected online for quite a while, so yeah, I appreciate you being involved with the project, and yeah, you know, like I know there's like a lot of things that in the future we'll be able to like get into some good conversations about, you know, just like in terms of straight up real life Merlin stuff. So,
oh
yeah.
yeah.
Totally. Cool. Cool. Well, just to keep things bouncing around just a little bit more, we're going to pass it over to Roman in a second. But Michael, is there any just last things that you just want to mention just before we pass it over? Just like
Well,
in terms of
there
like
is a thing that
message for the people or anything.
there is a thing that I've been doing that um, I've been doing this for quite a while, but for a while we were just getting the same kind of people, or the same people every time, which was cool. There's a thing that I do. It's called Merlin's Mystery School, and it's a hangout basically. But we go into different um, topics. Now, I don't have degrees in metaphysics or anything uh, like that, um, but what we do talk about is different concepts in metaphysics, and we explore, you know, Kabbalah, um, energy, different energy systems, Tantra, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like a little like online Hogwarts that I tried to make. I had this idea ever since I was young that I wanted to make something like that. And the focus really is empowerment in a person's life. It really is so people feel powerful, um, and recognize their power, so they don't feel helpless, when they in certain situations. So it is like a magical intelligence that I've been trying to develop with these classes.
Word, man. Yeah, definitely. And again, you know, for anybody tuning into this, like as another example, like creating physical paradigm shift communities is one thing, but you can create the gatherings through the digital space as well, using the Google Hangouts or using Facebook Live and doing Q's and A's and things like that as well. You know, like I've been doing Q&A through my Facebook at facebook.com/skullbabylon for those interested, and those have been really fun. And you know, we've gone into some really good conversations with those. And again, you know, for you guys and anybody, you can use kind of in the same way how what I'm doing through the website, where I like set up the event through the website as a quest journal, as an article. You guys can do that too. So you know, you can create a post within the Paradigm Central website, and you can just have the links to your Google Hangouts in there, and you can embed the videos and create like a link to hyperlink it to join. So at any point, if you guys want to create like your own type of specific broadcasts, please feel free to do that through the website as well. So yeah, and Michael, I'm not sure if you heard earlier, but our next Destiny school that we have is going to be on love and sacred sexuality, so we'll be able to get into some of the things that I'm sure you're interested as well, and that's like such a key topic, so definitely
Okay.
one I'm looking forward to. Yeah, for sure.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
Well, thanks again, Michael, and we'll just bounce things around, and Roman's back
Oh,
in
you're welcome.
here, and thank you. And Roman, we'll pass over to you next. And again, Roman, you've been involved with the Paradigm Shift community for a few months now, since we sort of began like that new wave of it back in May. And yeah, you stepped in as an admin. You've created a page for your community. So tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and how things are going in terms of like you just creating a shift community, or just like connecting with people in your community, or anything that you really want to share in terms of updates. So go ahead, Roman.
I mean, unfortunately, a bit late in the broadcast for some kind of introduction, but yeah, to put a bit of an update out there. I first kind of just wanted to say that, like, the path to one's own enlightenment is coming past going and meeting others that are on the same path, and you can influence each other. But also at the same time, you are creating new people, like you're initiating them to go on their own paths. And I think the first way to do that is through people educating themselves, or unslaving themselves, as it can be put. But my page has been doing pretty good. I'm really just trying to catch the attention of people, because me personally, I've been having almost argumentative issues. Like, I'm not arguing, but when you're talking to someone who's kind of really holding their beliefs really close to them, because they've never been told anything other than, it's really hard to accept it. Because I was looking at some John Locke today, and John Locke is the political philosopher that the founding fathers of the United States of America based their basically their freedom philosophy off of. And it goes about saying, like, the natural liberty of man and all kinds of things like that, nonviolence. And I mean, there's entire I've got a book saved on my bookmarks. Like, the whole time I was listening to this, I'm going through a resources page and saving all kinds of bookmarks for things I'm going to do before I go to sleep. Like, I'm just trying to constantly learn, and then when I find something, I put it on my page for people to go ahead and go ahead and look at it. And like you said, you were doing with your live Q&As. I think I might do something like that, because that sounds interesting. If people are willing to go ahead and join something like that. But yeah, to me, I think the most important thing to me, as I try to make very pronounced, is like, really starting people on the path, rather than tagging along with everyone else. I want to stay back and rally as many people to wake up as I possibly can, because I think that's the most important part, is the numbers of people who are willing to get it and who are willing to be receptive to the kind of open-mindedness and free thinking that you can achieve once you understand and contemplate many ideals you can find in just about any interconnecting and correlating studies in philosophy, occultism, spirituality. Once you get past the normal walls, I guess, I mean, I don't know how many of you just kind of go and dabble in politics. It's not really our gig to go and funnel in that. I mean, see, that's another thing too. I'd really like to get on, is I don't think you can make it this far mentally and want this, and well, not want, but want this to change the world, want this to change the world, and you want to change yourself to have to change afflict to people outside. But I think first, to do that, you have to kind of be at a certain point. You have to have de-adopted what you know, like whether those are political beliefs or religious beliefs, and it kind of it butts heads with, you look at a church, or you look at something like a Democratic or a Republican Party, or however it is in other countries, and you're looking at the political system. It's like, no, through reason, logic, and evidence, I understand that those systems are just complete. They're phallic. They're just big facades meant to trick people and further them away from what they can truly be. And everything, just all that goes on with that. It's so much information to try to just talk about it once. Like, you could do 200 of these shows and maybe put a dent in it. But I think the big point the big dent I try to make in the community is, analytical thought, further investigation, and having people realize the threat before they can move toward the solution. Because I think a lot of people jump the gun to the solution first before knowing what the whole problem is and how to solve it. And yeah.
For sure, man. Yeah, I mean, again, within the paradigm shift community, it's really about talking about whatever needs to be talked about. So, I mean, we obviously focus around a lot of metaphysical ideas, but I mean, talking about political stuff is in its own way metaphysical, because it's like a part of like this bigger shift in consciousness. And somebody was asking about that the other day within the Q&A, and I didn't get to it within the actual Q&A, but I responded to it in the comments, and they were just like, what are your thoughts on like the current political system and stuff like that? I'm just like, short answer, I'm just like, as much as it is like sort of this situation that sucks, like I see it as being like essential in order for us to recognize more clearly what it is that we don't want, so that over time we can focus on creating what it is that we do want, kind of thing. And like they were like they were just like, cool, like that's a satisfying answer for me, sort of thing. So I mean, yeah, like there's a lot of times within the paradigm shift community discussions that we've had within London where we get into the topics of politics and we get into the topics of like anarchy, but ultimately, it brings it back to like sovereignty as well. Like that's where it begins, is like the government of yourself, like like to be able to control your own mind in that sense. So
it's not that government isn't bad. It's people need to self-govern, like you own yourself type of ideal. Because I think that's kind of how I arrived here. It was very political with me first. Like it was all written. It was all very left-brained almost, like you could say, where it was just like very scientific when I went about it. Not that metaphysics can't be scientific, but it went about just about like a college course goes. Like your professor isn't, saying anything very mystical or neat. He's just kind of like displaying facts. And when you keep lining the facts up, and not letting like emotional prejudice get in the way, then you arrive at the conclusions of things like libertarianism or anarchy or something, the things that men like Patrick Henry or Thomas Paine envisioned, at least for America. But I think it stands out unitively throughout all countries. And I think each country has had their own John Locke's or their own Patrick Henry's and Thomas Paine's. But were you saying, I had a really good point to say. It was about, you said, in your circles over in London, you'll get it. No, he asked you the question, and you're like, yeah, that sucks, and stuff. It's like, well, the kind of stuff that we talk about and the advancement and the techniques and the knowledge that we all go on about and learn from and grow from is the answer. Like this can't translate into the political system and fix it by voting the right person on the throne. It's understanding that there doesn't need to be a throne. And to me, that's the first step. I don't like to be a political type of person, but when it comes down to it, I really want to know as much about it as I can, to where I can first convince them out of the thinking of politics, and then convince them here, there, and then now they're all the way through the slide of learning, in a way. Because I think that's what really stops people first. People are really, really stuck in the world of politics and the world of religion. And once you kind of get them to look at that a different way, then they're much more open to things of this nature. And
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just going back a step, I was just going to ask, remind me again, like the Paradigm Shift community page that you have, what's the location on it again? And I apologize for forgetting.
Location?
Like it's Paradigm Shift what?
Oh, Arizona.
Arizona, thank you. Okay, cool.
State.
So, yeah, cool. Yeah, like it just focusing in on like the admin's logistics and stuff like that. Like, do you sort of feel the call to be able to like organize like physical community shift events in the future at some point?
It'd be nice, but for the time being, it's not entirely possible, just because of what I'm able and not able to do. But I mean, there's people out there who don't organize. Well, they do organize things physical, but the entirety of their work and the entirety of their passion goes into how many people are viewing this idea. They see it on a webpage or on their phone, and they look at it like they learn something from it. And I want to be able to do that. But as I'm starting to recognize a lot of people, I think a huge problem is just people aren't paying attention. And people just need the snap, the kick, the inclination to go ahead. Because even Michael Tessarion says, like, there's these facts and there's these lies upon lies upon lies, and there's all this hidden knowledge, but the biggest thing that's in the way is people's inclination, and let alone the other inclination to go and get their arms around all the facts too. And those facts are just long. Like, I just got these tabs and these bookmarks here. I mean, I'm pretty far into this, and I'm still learning all kinds of things and all the details and where it all branches, and details about the things I already thought I knew. So, again, yeah, with my page, I feel pretty like proud and impressed with it because it covers just about every base. You know, it can strike a heart or a brain string with just about anybody. But in terms of reactions, it's not that many, but it soon will be. It just jumped from 20 some people to 100, and then it slowed down again. So I'll see what happens with that. I'm trying to make the page engaging because to me it's not a popularity contest. I just want people to pay attention, and I want to be able to have my own facts straight because I think the more I learn, not that it magic with a K just kind of permeates throughout the world, but I think the more you know, the more you're able to display and put the knowledge out there. And with that detailed knowledge comes another person like you looking for answers. You know, you want yourself and you want everyone else to go and look for answers, true answers, not what they want to hear.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. Like I like the attention that you are putting on your Facebook page, and like I would definitely just like invite you to keep in the back of your mind like the idea of like working on like a conscious article or a quest journal in the future.
Yeah, I was going to get into that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Like if you got is there something you got in mind for a future entry? You might because I feel like the Facebook pages, like again, like they don't do a good job of delivering content that we work on, and like that's the sad thing about it. We'll put a lot of thought into something and it just doesn't get there, whereas like our website will get it out there. So yeah, what might be something you might be working on?
Oh yeah, I was thinking to just visit whenever probably tomorrow, early in the afternoon. I was going to go ahead and visit the website and really just not promiscuously, just kind of type whatever I'm babbling out in my head, but really kind of form it together in a very coherent way to where I'm typing it out and it almost feels like a novel, to where it's not too long, and I don't want it to be like some kind of huge open letter, but
dude, you want
maybe it's a good way to
about writing when it gets into that, because I know what you're talking about.
Go ahead.
For me, I like writing. I've always been one of my things I liked. I always liked, language arts or English class or whatever it was called. Like English language arts class. I was always a big fan of that. For me, when I'm writing my quest journals, I'll write them, and then sometimes I'll get through them, and I'll be like, all right, let me save it now. Let me go, like, smoke a cigarette or whatever, and refresh my brain. And then I come back, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then so sometimes it's not like I don't plan them out a lot. I do plan them out on what I want to write, and I'll draw up a rough sketch of like an outline sort of deal, sort of in my mind though. But what I'm doing is you go and then I'll build it, and then I'll think, oh, you know what, like this can relate back up here, so I'll go back to a previous paragraph and add that in, and then take this and I'll slide that down at the bottom because it's better as an outro than it is here. So like, don't get discouraged, man. Like,
oh no, I'm not discouraged.
Sometimes, I know, but sometimes like getting it started and you're like, oh man, this and that. You don't really need to have like too big of an outline, man. All you need is an idea and to start writing. And then as you continue writing, you can always cut and paste and copy where stuff would fit better. So.
Yeah, it's funny how similar writing a quest journal is like editing a video in a lot of ways. Like you got like your little clips and ideas and stuff. So, yeah, definitely. And I'll just say this is to give a little people direction for people listening to this again. Like a big part of this project, guys, is learning how to create conscious media, and the objective to do that is multiple things. It's to practice expressing ourselves, and to be able to practice being ambassadors for ideas, and to be able to lead by example. And so when it comes to quest journals, so again, the quest journals are things that are like really there for practice, whereas the conscious articles are something that we want to work towards. Like I don't encourage you to do a conscious article until you've done at least like 5 quest journals. And a conscious article would be thought of more like an essay, something with like a little bit extra attention and intention behind it. And so the quest journals, a good way to sort of model them is to think about what your title would be. And so I was talking to Kyle about this. You know, I've been helping Kyle sort of refine his presentation within his quest journals, and it's really been paying off. And so like one of the ways is that within the title and within the article, the quest journal itself, think about the idea of what are you offering the reader? Why would you want them to click on it, sort of thing. So like you can say like, you know, like an understanding of ... or just like, you know, like I mean, look at just like some of the recent ones that Kyle had, because yeah, like just as a recent example, so Kyle had, you know, like his is about the golden age of Aquarius, the Great Awakening. So it was originally a little bit different, and then together we sort of decided upon the title of Understanding the Golden Age of Aquarius, the Great Awakening. So like just that idea of like, what are you offering the reader? You're offering them an understanding. And then in addition to the quest journals, you know, you can offer them experience. So again, you know, like another one that Ron actually made is My Second Shamanic Medicine Journey with Ayahuasca. So, you know, a person goes into that understanding what it is that they're going to be reading. So, I mean, really the titles are such an important thing. You know, you really want to be able to capture someone's attention within the first 15 seconds. So that means having a good title, it means having a good preview image, and it means having a good opening paragraph. So that opening paragraph should really sort of like map out what it is that you're going to talk about, while also leaving a bit of a hook. So maybe that puts in a bit of a question within the opening statement, and then your quest journal is like answering that question. So I mean, again, you know, there's a lot of different ways to make quest journals. Some of them are going to be tailored more around particular ideas, while at the same time we want people to use them just to be able to document their own personal experiences. But again, you know, like it's a really exciting thing to know that this project is at the point where the platform is functioning, because honestly, like you guys have seen, like I've been building this website for over a year, and to be able to get it to the point where it's working is pretty exciting, and it's just going to continue to work. And yeah, again, you know, like shout out to everyone who has been contributing to quest journals. And honestly, it's kind of cool because like I can go back and look at some quest journals from, like, I'm just going to click on like one of them from like this is like about like a month ago, and do it to see the page count. So again, you know, most of the articles we add a page count, and that's like unique visitors. So within this real world game, you can use the unique visitor count as a way to like measure your, you know, sort of like the gamification in terms of like how successful your article is, and then inviting you guys to like share the article from your own end through social media, and keep track on the numbers that it's pulling in, and to know that like those numbers are like helping the entire team, because you never know how like each article is a portal to invite people back to the website. So in the same way you do like you know, you give out a shift button in person, we can accomplish the same idea by like creating an article and then using that as a portal to link people back into the project. And a long run of this is that, like, you know, it invites them to potentially create a shift community where they are. So like one article can connect someone who creates a shift community, creates a ripple effect. So just going back, like I'm just looking at one of the quest journals, which was again, it was another quest journal from Ron actually, and it has like over 700 views on it, and I didn't even promote that one. Like it wasn't something that I like openly like posted in a bunch of groups. Like it reached those number of views just through people naturally browsing the website on their own. So again, you know, it's really cool to be able to see that's happening. And again, like this is in response to the fact that Facebook sucks. So, you know, like when people post on Facebook, like it might get a few likes, but then after like a 5 days later, after a bunch of other posts go up, it's gone. No one's
Yeah.
Again, Facebook just flushes things down the drain over and over and over again. Whereas here, we're creating like an archive where things can like have more of a lasting life, and there's something that can still be browsed. And your quest journal that you enter may be something that someone will stumble upon way later, and still have like a lasting impression in that sense. So yeah, again, this is about giving all of us a shared platform to be able to practice expressing our voice. And I just want to give a shout out actually to Jared. Jared's actually listening to the show right now, and even while he is listening to this show, he has actually already submitted his form submission for a community admin sign up, and he's actually already created a group page on Facebook for the Paradigm Shift community that he is starting where he is, and he's starting to ask people and be like, hey, like who wants to help like create like conscious community where we are, and that is for Paradigm Shift Indiana. So again, like Jared literally set this up within the time that he's been listening to this, and he literally just posted a quest journal as well. Like he literally like just submitted it, and as he was like saying in the comments through the team live chat that he's just saying, hearing you really made me feel empowered. I'm finishing up a journal now, and I really want to start getting out there and helping others myself like you guys do. I posted in Reflections called Empowered, if y'alls are interested. So I'm going to be able to like check out his new quest journal as well. And again, Jared, even for you listening to this right now, your quest journal is just called Empowered. I would invite you to go back and edit the title of that to just personalize it a little bit, and this is a simple idea. Change it to something along the lines of how I stepped into my empowerment or something like that. So I mean, again, you can understand, like really think about this from the social media perspective of what a viewer seeing that link in social media will be able to comprehend through the title. If they just see something that says empowered, they don't know what that is. As far as they know, it could be like like an ad for something. They really don't know. So if you can personalize it, change the title of it. Jared, you can go back into the edit of your quest journal. Up in the top right, you'll see the edit just above like where it says like the next global meditation. And so Jared, I can help you with that as well. But yeah, so instead of just having empowered, try changing it to something a little bit more personal. And that's like a cool thing, is that I don't think a lot of people see that within a lot of the social media stuff going on these days within the conscious community. They see a lot of like sort of half-baked articles about like that are really more designed for clickbait. Like they're just kind of like these, like they look good, and a lot of people share them, but they may not even like fully read them necessarily. But what we're not seeing a lot of are these personal stories, and that's something that we are going to be seeing more of through obviously the Paradigm Shift Central. So yeah, Jared, shout out to you, man. Shout out to you for stepping in and getting involved. And I did just want to say one thing. Within the instructions of the website, we talk about creating a page for the Paradigm Shift communities, whereas Jared created a group. At this point, I'm almost thinking that I want to be able to switch the instructions back to creating a group, because I feel like a group at this point is actually going to be more effective for a new Paradigm Shift community instead of creating a page, because pages on Facebook are just so freaking gimped. And again, that's because they want you to pay for the promotions in that way. So yeah, Jared, thanks for creating a group, because I feel like that may be a better way to do it. But what we're actually going to start doing soon, guys, planting the seed, this is something that I'm going to be working on, is that part of the reason we're creating the admin sign-up form is that I'm going to start giving you guys your own groups within the Paradigm Shift Central website. So there's other features within the website that we haven't activated yet, and one of them is like an individual group that is a community group. So it'll be like your own sub portion of the website that will actually have like its own forum as well, and you can use that to sort of like talk amongst like your own community groups, and that will link people back into your upcoming events and stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to be able to give a shout out to Jared and share that with you guys. And again, just for Roman as well to keep, and for anybody to keep that in mind in terms of like presentation, in terms of how to create effective media with the quest journals and stuff like that. So Roman, go ahead though.
Oh, yes, definitely about catching someone's eye. Like the presentation, to me, that's kind of what I was thinking about when I was talking about my quest journal. Wasn't so much like a hard, solid, just definitive formed idea as much as it was. I just want to get it straight so that it looks right. Because you were right too, like about the whole clickbait thing. I don't like to think it's true, but the things with the more rich knowledge are buried under the things that say like one thing, and then it's just it's a slew of just obviousness, and it's ridiculous when I find things like that. You'll see something about healthy eating, and it's like, well, that's sort of healthy eating, but did you look at this over here? This is way richer in knowledge and in health, and it's got barely any fuel into it. It's almost like a controlled opposition type of thing too. The most popular stance of this, let's say, vegan ideal is what people think about when they think about veganism, when it really is just this. It's just the simple principles. A lot like anarchy, how it's misrepresented or misunderstood of what people truly mean by it. But anyway, the whole thing with this journal, I'll definitely be working on that. I'm completely up for it. I just need to find like a really good subject to get into. Definitely nothing too forward.
What you even just said there for me sparked an idea for a potential topic. It's just like redefining our understanding of anarchy or something like that. Like what does anarchy actually mean or something? Like I feel like that could be a potential topic. Honestly, there is no limit in terms of the potential topics that we have in terms of being able to create things. So, but yeah, let's brainstorm it some more in the future and stuff like that.
Yes, definitely.
For
get
sure.
into it now. But one thing to say about it, just real quick, is like there's not even getting into it metaphysically and philosophical. It is philosophical, but getting into it metaphysically and what it means in the world of occult information or spiritual wisdom, not even getting into that. There's people are still digging into it on how it can work and things like that. But anyway, coming up with an idea with the Quest Journal is going to be definitely something. It's almost fun to do a little bit of soul searching, in a way.
Yeah.
Another thing, too. Damn it! I can't believe I forgot.
It was about questions.
Remember not to forget.
I'm very forgetful. Like I do all this research and I know all these things, but I'm very short-term forgetful.
It's like your like RAM memory, stuff like that.
But
bounce around. It's no problem. Again, what I was just gonna say is that like what one of the things within the Paradigm Shift Central project that I really wanted to be able to create for us was, again, this unique website that in itself is like in terms of why we're creating the Quest journals, we're inviting people back to the website, we're inviting them to get involved with the project, but we're doing it from a place that's like with like deeper authenticity and like deeper intention and stuff like that. And this isn't trying to like bash the other big pages out there that are doing their own thing, because they're still getting stuff done and it's still important. But like a lot of them, and again, those goes back to like check what your deeper intention is with anything. But like with a lot of like the big community websites out there, and I'm talking the ones that have like millions of people on Facebook, right? And they'll post something and just like everyone like don't even read the articles, they just like automatically share them and like them, and it's just like this crazy thing that happens, right? Whereas we're just like this like small time group that's like really putting in like the grunt work and stuff like that. But what I was going to say is that this is kind of obvious, but with their stuff, a lot of their motivation is ad revenue, and that's why they're trying to like bring in like fancy articles and stuff like that. And that's why you go to their website and you see they have like those messed up advertisements to like how like celebrities like got their faces messed up with facelifts, or there's like the weird shit that's like not even related to their website, right? Like it's a
book with a really nice cover.
Yeah,
concept.
Yeah, so again, right? Like it's there are these other pages, and again, like kudos for them for finding a format that works for them. But it's kind of obvious that like some of the stuff that they're doing, in addition to putting out good quality stuff, is like them desperately trying to get people to visit their website in order to keep up their ad revenue resources and stuff like that. Whereas like what we're doing through our approach is much different. Through the team crowdfunding, it allows us to like work like that's where our revenue comes from, and therefore we can keep. What was that?
Voluntarism.
Yeah. So again, like because of that, it allows us to keep the integrity of our content more integral. So yeah. So it's just kind of it's
A lot
cool.
of oh yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
A lot of people I learn from, and the researchers and things like that, I really try to keep it to the people who are very integral. Like they have their dignity, they're not hidden behind a cover, they're not sold out. They're kind of just, they even talk about people talking about them, talking about, if that they are, like either they critique incorrectly because they didn't agree with this one thing, so they have to disregard all their work kind of thing. I don't know if you ran into that kind of thought or feeling before. But there's also there it goes again. Um, yeah, disagreeing with someone's entire work because of something they didn't like to do, not hidden behind any kind of a facade, like the learn more button on my Facebook page. But I'm excited about that group thing you're going to be making on the website you were talking about earlier. That sounds very exciting too. But the learn more button leads to a website of a guy who only just has a donation button but doesn't like have ad revenue or anything like that. It's completely it's basically perfect in any means of like real conscious media. I mean, not even media in an entertaining sense. It's literally just straight like here's stuff you need to know. And basically it's almost like a pass wall for me. Like you have to know what this, and this is before you come into like the big boy room and talk about these things. I don't want to make it hierarchical like that if it appears to be that way, but this goes back to my point of just people need to pay attention and recognize a lot of things and know a lot of things. And while they're knowing those things, they're slowly grasping on to the metaphysical and very important spiritual idea of this, and that. It all fits together perfectly. The more you learn, the more like freer you get in your heart and mind. And with the shift buttons earlier, I want some too, but having a hard time getting some of my own. I mean, I just want to look at the selection of them. That'd be cool. Anyway, I mean, I don't know what you had planned for the whole show. It's just people going on talking about their.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of the ground that we need to. Like, I'm actually pretty content with just moving into our tarot card draw and wrapping it up with a short meditation at this point. But just opening it up if there's anything else that you guys want to mention. Again, like at this point, for people who are listening, like covering the basics, like yeah, like if you're inspired to like create conscious community where you are, then sign up for the admin sign up form on the website under the tools. Definitely go back and check out previous broadcasts with the admin hangouts and even any of the live broadcasts on the website, and just explore and check out the quest journals, share the content through there. And yeah, encouraging people to do Shiftivism, doing free hugs, all of the things that we talk about within this project, and of course inviting them to use the website as a platform to be able to document their own shift in consciousness, their own spiritual journeys, to create their own conscious media, and to be able to like step into that role of like kind of even what we were talking about just now. Like it's interesting to see like what happens when we step into that role of being a teacher in terms of like creating like an educational piece of media and stuff like that. Like it brings in like an interesting part of our own lesson to be able to like create. Like I love the idea how Einstein says like it's like intelligence is being able to explain something simply. in a way. So like let's do that. Like let's create some good media that for new visitors of the site, they're going to be able to like get some things out of. And one thing that I will just plant the seed for, because I'm going to be we're going to be getting to it in the future again, kind of within this project. Like honestly, like there's parts to it that I have planned that we just haven't activated yet, because I didn't want to activate everything all at once, or else it just would have been too much. One of the things that we're going to be activating in the future that I'm going to be asking for your guys' help on is the Reality Encyclopedia. And you'll actually see that under the learning modules, this already exists, though it is currently empty, even though a version of it already existed in the previous old version of the website. But the Reality Encyclopedia is exactly what it sounds like. It is literally like a glossary of specific terms and important ideas that we're going to create. And we're gonna like have links to like cool articles or cool videos with images, so people can like browse the Reality Encyclopedia and see like literally like a list, like just like going through things like auras, like going through like meditation, astral projection, chakras, yogas, as above so below, sacred geometry, like Sasquatch, UFOs, and to be able to like connect the dots between them. So it'll be like a data mining process that will allow people to intuitively begin to like again, like knowing that this website is something that you can give a shift button to someone who may be brand new to this stuff, and they'll be able to go there and they'll begin to use the Paradigm Shift Central website literally as like a platform to help them begin to like open up to a lot of new ideas. So stay tuned for the Reality Encyclopedia, because again, like I'm going to be asking for your guys' help in making that, because that's like been a really important part of the project that we'll get to down the road. But yeah, what do you guys think about that idea?
Oh, it's a really good idea, man.
I love it, dude. That's fantastic. Reality, and so the Encyclopedia of Reality or whatever.
Yeah,
man.
I was just on the
I'm
website.
all about it.
I was just on the resources page of the What on Earth is Happening website, and it's kind of like that. It's a glossary in a way. Like any word ever mentioned about any subject is lined up alphabetically, and there's like 22 things in just the A section, and it's like and people's names, subjects, mystery traditions, this. It's, and then you can just click on anyone that's interesting, leads you to a link, and the results.
Yeah, like what I'm actually planning on doing for that in the future is like literally it's going to be us creating like a Google Hangout, and while we're in the Hangout, we're going to be making the Reality Encyclopedia. So like literally, like we'll kind of be going through it like each one, or like we'll be doing like an individual topic at a time, or we'll like assign ones to work on and begin to just like piecing together the knowledge and the information. So yeah, like stay tuned for that, because that's going to be an important part of the project moving forward. One thing that I will just say for the people browsing the website, FYI, there's actually a link to a hidden library on the website. There's like it's like a hidden link. It's like an Easter egg on the website, and some people already know about it. A lot of people don't, but it's hidden for a reason, and it's a hidden library of like a variety of very informative PDF files. And if you can find it, then good for you, but we're not going to tell you where it is. And once you do find it, you're still going to have to get past the password. But I think that you will be able to figure it out, because some people already have. Yeah, like I can give you a clue for it. It's a relative. You are looking for a hidden library, and the password has a connection to the concept of library to begin with. So
Alexandria.
Don't give it away. It's not that though.
Oh.
I thought about making it that, because I remember you mentioning that in one of the previous broadcasts we did. So, but it's not that. But that's a good guess. That's a good direction. So, again, don't guess out loud now. But people will be able to find that. But again, first you have to find the link within the website. And honestly, it's not that hard to find. It's just not obvious. That's all. So, Kyle knows about it. So he found it a long time ago.
Oh wait. I don't know if this is the right place to put the...
Yeah, Roman, honestly, you could find it in like 5 seconds. If you know that you're looking for something, you can find it. It's just like it's just not obvious, but it's pretty straightforward. Okay,
I'll
guys.
see if I can find it.
Yeah, and don't tell us if you did. So, and keep it hidden if you do. So again, for the people listening to that, like a little incentive, because that's like part of the game, is that there's like Easter eggs hidden in the website. So yeah. And another thing within the website that maybe some people haven't really checked out, under the learning modules, there's the video game mindfulness. That's something that, if you haven't checked that out yet, I just encourage you to go there, because it's got some cool Flash games that I've specifically embedded that are sort of like designed to like help encourage like intuitive reflexes. So you've got like a Flash version of Geometry Wars, which is like a super cool game. You got Flow Orb, which is like a really cool game. The 3D missile game, which you guys probably recognize. There's chess, Bubble Bobble, a typing game, Space Invaders. Bubble Bobble. I know, right? So I looked very hard for these Flash versions. I had to go to like the
make a
deep
version
web.
of Race the Sun, dude.
Oh, actually, I'll link into that, because there is an online version of Race the Sun, but it's not Flash. It's like uses a plugin, but I can do that. I can link into that, because yeah, that's a sick game.
We used
Now I
to
want
play that
to
on
play it.
PlayStation, dude.
Oh, dude, I
It
used
was
to
a
play.
free downloaded game. It was like one of the free
Yeah.
PS games.
That's a great game. It's like one of those like flying games, and you're just like dodging so fast, and it's great to like play and listen to Psytrance. Oh man, now I want to like
Have you
smoke
ever
a bowl
played
and play that.
Apocalyptic
That
version?
brings me back. Yeah. Oh, dude. Like, yeah.
Apocalyptic mode is like, what?
Dude,
There's
I
big
got.
bombs going off, and
Yeah.
you're flying
Yeah.
totally blind. You're like,
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
I heard that. I heard that playing
I
a
have
lot of
videos
video.
of that online.
I heard that
Dude,
playing a lot of
even-
video games gives you
I
the
will tell you
ability to
that
lucid dream better.
the theme
To
music.
lucid dream
for that-
better. Is that what you said, Roman?
Yeah, like the more games you play, the easier lucid dreaming becomes. Because playing a game is a lot
Interesting.
like moving around in another world, so it kind of
Wow.
your brain translates itself the same way.
I could see that. Yeah, some sort of connection there.
You
Kyle,
can Google it if you want.
Kyle, what were you saying? Something about music in the game?
Oh, the music in Race the Sun is just so like you don't even need to listen to trance music. It is trance music. It's like
It does have a good soundtrack. It's funny, like there's actually, I mean, we're getting a little sidetracked, but yeah, like I have like videos of Race the Sun on my YouTube channel of me playing that, and then it's cool because I'm sure you remember this, Kyle. Like if you, and then for anybody who has no idea what we're talking about, just Google Race the Sun or Google YouTube videos and you'll see, and you can find like a Flash version, not a Flash version, but you can find it online. But once you get like further enough into the game, by like level 5 or something, there's like the buildings, and there's like words that are written, and one of the things it says is like life has meaning, and you like go past it. I don't know if you ever saw that, but that was always, I always thought that was kind of cool, because like it's like the developers like put that in there. It's like they made this really cool game, and then they sort of like put in this like extra piece of like consciousness shifting.
The buildings are words, and I think one of them is just happiness.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the first ones you come across. That building says happiness.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
It says happiness, like the first one. And then you're right. Light has meaning is definitely in there. Like I've seen that one plenty of times because you come across the set of buildings. It's just like 3, and I'm like, yeah, there it is. Dude, random stuff. I got stung by a bee the other day when I was like clearing some shit out, and I haven't gotten stung by a bee in like years. It's like all fucking crazy and itchy now. It's fucking weird. I don't know. Just random. I got stung by a bee now.
Ta-da. Cool. Good lesson. Okay. Let's get ready to jump into our closing tarot read, and we'll just end with like a super short meditation because I'm getting pretty tired, obviously. But yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, okay, so let's do that, guys. Let's do that. And again, like shout out to everyone who's tuned into this, who's listening to this in the future. And again, just let us know that you've listened to this, because again, there's hundreds of people who've listened to this show, yet we don't always hear from you guys, and we'd love to be able to hear from you guys a little bit more. It's a really interesting thing to think that there's like all these people listening to us who we don't even know, right? So introduce yourself whenever you wish, and you can do that through the live chat on the website. You can do it by creating a profile. You can do it by leaving a comment on the YouTube, anything like that. So yeah, so thanks again to everyone for being involved with this project, and yeah, it's exciting. It is like yeah, it's really cool to be able to do this, especially as a team. And I feel like that's like my favorite part of it, is to be able to like connect with you guys and to get to know each other as a team. So definitely Soul Tribe reuniting. Cool.
Yeah, so
All right.
All
So-
mumbo jumbo talk.
Yeah, yeah. All that hippie woo. Definitely. Super spirituality, best friends unite.
Hey,
yeah, dude, Jesus
like-
Christ, that was super dope.
Like, I guess while you shuffling that there, to be honest, I never really got into the hippie part of, because I don't know how anyone else got introduced to this kind of information, but to me it wasn't any kind of like 60s hippie peace kind of movement.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't
It
have to
wasn't
be.
that.
I mean, that's
So, I
totally
don't have
like
the kinda-
when I first got into this thing, man, I had like this crazy illusion in my head. It was like goth, you know, like I was like, yeah, I want to be like some crazy fucking like super ultra mega mysterious fucking character that like is into witchcraft and all this stuff. I had like this, you know, nothing about it for me was hippie. It was all like super dark and brutal goth, you know. And then it, you know, you grow out of that or whatever, but it evolves into this. Like, but for me, yeah, there was no like hippie thing about it. It was like, what? There's nothing hippie about spirituality. It's called being awake. It's called universal knowing.
Yeah,
It's called claircognizance.
It's not the truth that I thought was hippie. It's people's perception of what that truth is, and then that's just kind of like their behavior or their attitude or their reaction to it, or, you know, kind of like how the movement in the 60s kind of produced its own type of like indoctrinated folks, and they they went along with it but didn't question it, even though it was sort of in the right, you know,
Far out, man.
formative, right? But it's not that the truth makes people all hippie. It's kind of just like people are already inherently kind of like that. But the truth can be delivered and perceived by anybody. Not that they make up the truth. It's just that's just how people are seeing it. Like, I see it different than you see it, but it's the same picture.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Right.
All right, guys. Let's do our tarot draw here. So again, you know, with the magic of tarot, it's using like the quantified aspect of reality to be able to deliver us a message. So within this tarot deck, every card is every card. No card is no card, and within that, it allows whatever card needed to come through. So charging the deck, not allowing the observer to collapse the card reality just yet, and gonna just ask the universe to show us what we need to see. So you guys can like add your intention into this as much as you want, even from the future. People from the future listening to this are still affecting this moment right now.
Yeah, that's
magic juju.
I got the cereal. It's about like
Very dramatic.
there's a very
Okay, hold on. I gotta do the big reveal. Okay, so the card is Cup of 9. Let me see what that is.
Cup 9, yeah.
Cups of 9. So
You did
there's
that
the
Legend
symbol
of
there.
Zelda thing pretty good.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael. Actually, it was funny. My old cell phone, it used to be like the Legend of Zelda. Like when you like open it, when you find something, it would be that as like when I get a text. It was always so exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, because we can use that, you know, in a way, like.
We should get that sound effect like ready on like a mixer and play it whenever we need to.
Alright, let's see. Alright, 9 of cups.
Wondering if
Okay,
it's got anything to relate.
let's see what we got here. So,
What
9 of cups, the image. In front of a deep blue sky, above a landscape, bathed in bright colors, a group of cups encircles a mandala. Oh yeah, in the future, speaking of mandalas, I want to do a Destiny school all about the Mandela effect in the future. So I'll just say that now. Because I know, because people were like asking me, they're like, can we do one about the Mandela effect? I'm just like, yes.
Let's do it.
And Nelson Mandela, his birthday is the same birthday as me. So,
What?
Yeah,
No
yeah.
way.
July 18th.
Brutality.
Okay.
But he's a commie.
But what?
He's a goddamn commie.
He's a communist? Aren't we communists? I don't even know what I'm saying. Okay, meaning. Joy of being is the expression of a positive attitude towards life, with which man brings his inner world of emotions outside. As a result of turning inward, in which he recognizes the outer world within the essence of his being, his consciousness grows in awareness that the composition of the world is an answer to inner turmoil. As one calls in the wood, it echoes accordingly. So you guys can just kind of like meditate as I keep reading. There's a whole nother paragraph. In the certainty of deep feeling that the experience of interconnection to all life brings, the individual is then able to develop deep trust. From the inner security that is experienced on a deeper level of existence grows the easy, carefree feeling of a childlike nature, which makes possible an innocent and carefree experience of the world of senses. The unhindered expression of a joyous feeling for life not only fills one's being with an experience of intense joy, but makes it possible for his fellow creatures to participate in it also. So I'm just going to read that part there. The unhindered expression of joyous feeling for life not only fills one's being with an experience of intense joy, but makes it possible for his fellow creatures to participate in it also. In experiencing the material world of form as a space of resonance for the mind, the individual consciousness recognizes itself as a part of the cosmic consciousness, and becomes a conscious co-creator in the divine plan. As little as one should fall prey to the senses and become their slave, a forceful repression of feelings and their natural requirements becomes necessary. Rather, the focus is more about sensory experience and expression of feelings, through which the soul gives outer forms their shape. The world of feeling builds the cutting edge between mind and matter. He who recognizes the beauty in things awakens them to life. By awakening them to life, he approaches his own fulfillment. Astrological significance: Moon, Venus, novile aspects. Keywords: feelings of wholeness, loving attachment, expression of life, affirming feelings, collective play, lightheartedness, nurturing awareness, sensuality, artistic expression. Traditional meaning: pleasure, zest for life, social gathering, human warmth, affection, positive attitude toward life, joy of being, carefreeness. Nine of Cups. So yeah, I'll just say real quick. Again, you know, like that part, this part here. I just want to read this again. The unhindered expression of joy and feeling for life not only fills one's being with an experience of intense joy, but makes it possible for his fellow creatures to participate in it also. For me, that really resonates with the intention of what the Paradigm Shift Project is about. You know, like as we take the shift with us, a big part of it is about like empowering others, and it's also inviting them to awaken to the infinite joy of life and to the infinite wonder and awe that is in every moment, and to like really sort of like bring in that childlike perception of just being able to like, yeah, like have that joyous feeling for life. And then through that, it invites others to be able to experience that and to be that themselves. So I mean, play and like joyfulness and and like having that, just like that sense of awe is like something that, you know, like I personally like to bring into this, and I'm sure, you know, like you guys are aware of this and you guys sort of sense this, but like that I like being able to make this project accessible, and one of the ways how we make it accessible is by making it like fun, and by making it like, you know, like it just like not like carefree in the sense that we don't care, but like carefree in the sense of just like kind of like having, yeah, like having it a place where we can just like talk about like what excites us and talk about like the exciting things, and just like allowing us to be able to like step into that part of ourselves that is constantly like in awe and of like just like appreciation and like genuine, you know, like happiness, to be able to like find that within yourself and to invite others. Because I feel like a lot of people, you know, they're just like, there's like, life is stupid, life sucks, man. But like some of those people just haven't like, or they're like, life is boring or something like that, right? It's like
They didn't arrive at that conclusion through reason and logic.
right. So I mean, you know, again, you know, for some people, like once you start opening them up, once you start like showing them further down the rabbit hole, it starts opening up all these new avenues to life, and there's like, oh my god, you know, like there's this store, there's this store, like holy crap, like I never learned about this in school, you know, like why didn't anybody teach me about like lucid dreaming or anything yet, you know? So suddenly it opens them up into this multidimensional aspect of reality, which can be very, very exciting for a lot of people, and that's why, like for me, like life is a very exciting thing, and I want to be able to like invite people to see that excitement themselves and to know it themselves. So that was one of the things that I got. And then there was like the other part in here where it talked about just like gathering and community again. So for me, yeah, like I really encourage you guys, like as you're creating your paradigm shift communities, to do it in a very you know, like to carry that positive attitude into it, opposed to creating a paradigm shift community out of fear or something, right? It's just like, oh, we have to get everyone together because the world's ending or something like that. It's just like, rather it's like, let's get everyone together so that we can celebrate where we are now and collectively answer the question of like how we can answer the call of like what is needed, and step into our power through love, you know? So love and unity is the consistent message. So, anything you guys want to share out of what maybe you thought while reading that, from what you can remember? A lot of it was like inner mind, outer world connection too.
Oh man, just about being like talking about the card and everything stuff. We
Both, yeah whatever.
Tired. Nah, dude. Yo, man, that card is cool because, like, actually, I was gonna say earlier, like, lately, like, earlier, I was gonna say, like, I've been, like, today and yesterday, and, like, especially last night when I got picked up, by those fucking wonderful people. And it was crazy. They're like, we're kidnapping you. You're coming with us. And I was like, all right. It was like, but I've been really high-strung with myself lately because I put such a hard position on myself to be so like tough on myself because I want to be a leader that way. But you know, like going back to that moment and the manifestation of all that, like the amount of intimacy that I put into the energy that actually bounced back, and like what intentions I was putting out, and what kind of, you know, what I was throwing out there into the universe, and to see it reflected back that way, you know, like that's not something that usually I get. Usually I always keep in mind that like this might take a while. So for something to bounce back that quickly, but you know, that has to go back to cultivation of sexual energy, use of that in a direction to figure something out. Like, all right, like you got to build, you know, like this really doesn't go back that far. But the amount of intimacy that I put out there and what I was really truly like had the idea of and behind, and when I threw it out there into the universe, like I made that post, but like what the things I was thinking, everything that like the emotions that were behind it, you know, the want for whatever this was, like, you know, there's a lot of like that was definitely an intimacy driven thing. So like that, boom, reflected this, bang, it's like, you know, here's an idea, here's potential, you know. But it was all in like a playful manner. You know what I mean? Like it was like a serious note, but a playful manner. So like reminding myself to like be able to relax and just sort of be in that moment of happiness, I guess. You know what I mean? And not have to be so like super hard on it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Totally, man.
still being able to like, I guess being able to like make connections and still talk like on like make spiritual connections, but still be able to relate on a regular level. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you know, making those connections, creating
Yeah.
that, you know, that orchestra, I guess.
Yeah.
Being the architect, being, I guess, you know, like everyone likes to talk about it, wants to know more. It's like, well, if I can tell them, I guess.
Definitely.
But yeah,
Definitely.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Awakened individuals.
Yeah, and again, man, like, you know, like within a lot of this stuff, something I've seen before is that, and I've heard other people mention this, is that, you know, they'll be there for friends, and they'll openly talk about the things that they're interested in related to like the spirituality and the chakras and the yogas and everything. And it's very common for a lot of people to just like not believe in those and to just think they're stupid and stuff like that. But then like a year later, suddenly they'll start like investigating these things themselves, and then they'll like come back to you and they'll be like, hey man, do you remember like a year ago when you were telling me about this stuff? Like can we talk about
Well,
that
yeah,
now?
I do, because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
fucking
you
made me mad.
or something like that, you know. But so again, it's just like being really patient with people, knowing that everyone is at where they need to be at on their own path, and the last thing you want to do is like get mad at someone for being where they are, and to just like hold that space for them. And like as a friend to just be like, hey, you know, like if you ever want to talk about this stuff, feel free to let me know, sort of thing. So again, it's that open door, and that's, you know, open door with the Paradigm Shift communities, open door with the project that we're doing, open door for individual conversations. Let people come to you when they are ready. And it's a very soft process, but that I feel is like how it works, right? Opposed to, like I said, the only true evil is trying to force your beliefs on someone else, sort of thing.
Man.
So yeah.
Absolutely, 100% on that fact.
Word.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Sweet.
Yeah. Before, if I could talk about what the tarot draw.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron. Yeah.
Well, forcing your beliefs on someone is a very violent act, especially if they're unwilling. But I think a lot of the point is in the whole cast pearls before swine, old occult phrase. I think what it really means today is kind of like knowledge is there and it's reserved for those who go looking for it. And you're not shoving your beliefs in people's faces, you know, like a bigot. You're kind of just like, here's the truth, and I'm going to present it to you in a fair fashion. And if you don't accept it, it's like, well, you know, what am I supposed to do? But what the card meant, it was very resonant, because the thing with tarot cards is they're like messages of the day, but they're also lifelong lessons at the same time. So when you get one, it's like it could have been any one of those cards, but that one specifically was about. It was like today. It was like a whole day. Like what you were saying, what the card was describing was basically just about how my whole day went, and the whole thing with how we are grouped here together today, talking about stuff. And it was really cool because it had been really gotten into. It was cool because it said like Moon and Venus, or like its affiliations. I don't have my Sky Map app up right now, but if I were, I could probably go over the Moon, and Venus would probably be near it somewhere. Probably because it is that synchronistic. But anyway, the whole thing with Nelson Mandela. The whole thing is Nelson Mandela and Kami. It was kind of like a trippy thing, but I went and looked at it through really quick. But basically, he was trying to make South Africa an anti-apartheid country, and the only way he could do that was through the communist system that was in place, which some people are, you know, speculating whether he had a hand in certain operations for certain agendas or not. But basically, for the most part, it's basically like disadvantaged. Like you're trying to do something right through a bad system, so you're going to get bad looks. And the thing with Michael Tessera was, it was interesting. The only thing I remember from like an hour audio talk was him talking about tarot and things like when it comes to drawing cards or going outside or any kind of activity. It matters a little between if you're doing, like if you're actually going to go and pick the tarot card, or if you're just going to randomly unconsciously choose it, because the conscious and the unconscious are like the same. So the universe still has a plan whether you know what card you're picking up or not, because it knows you're going to know to pick up. It already knows that you're telling yourself, oh, I'm going to pick up this tarot card, but it's already kind of like planning that out, sort of like fate.
Yeah, I like the way you put that, Roman.
Yeah, it's a very weird thing to think about. It makes sense in your head, but to explain it sounds kind of funky.
Dude, were you here when I was talking about the shit, that stuff, man, the fourth dimensional canvas, painting 3D spaces on a fourth dimensional canvas, an infinite number of infinities looping throughout themselves to create the fabric of reality?
I'm not sure, but that makes sense to me.
I'll get into it later.
Yeah.
I guess.
Try putting it into a quest journal. I dare you.
I'm totally doing
I dare you. Yeah, man.
Really great time.
Dude, one of these days I'm gonna get my first black book from like the beginning of everything and bring it out. I actually have a lot of papers from basic training that, like, when I was in basic training, I had like this crazy weird like channeling thing going on, and I was like writing. I just started drawing down all these symbols and then like creating, like, I would draw down a symbol and then like there would be the meaning for it. And like this guy that was in basic training with me, he was like, where have you found these? Like, where did you see these before? And I was like, dude, I'm just drawing them. Like, this is in basic training, so like, I don't know. I don't really know. That's all I can say about that one. I don't really know. I was in basic training, alright? But I'm drawing these symbols, and the guy was like, "Guy, what?" He was like, "What is that?" You know? He was like going through basic with me. He was in my platoon and all that.
Magic.
Yeah, and then he was like, "No, because I've seen them before." And I was like, "No, this is just coming to me. This is just like stuff." You know? And he was like,
"Oh yeah."
We had talked before, and he was like, he practiced chaos magic or something. He was a Satanist for a little while, but now he was like, one of the Christians. But he was like, I've seen these before, and he was like, and there's only one person that has this, that has these, the book with these in them, and that's someone in Colorado. She's a high priestess, and she holds on to this handwritten book. Why do you know these? And I was just like,
because the universe.
Yeah.
What you tapped into?
I don't know these, but yeah, that goes back to this whole thing with like these beings called death dealers, and architects. And
hey,
this whole thing of the nine. And
I don't know.
A lot of different things.
Maybe soon some kind of team building hangout or some sort of like organized event we could do where, I don't know, the interesting side of us gets together and we can actually talk about what we know definitively about like the cult or even dark cult, and what Kyle knows about Satanism and witchcraft, and what I know as much about it, Satanism and its ideology, and the whole channeling thing and all of that, and even the control system as a whole. Like, really, just let's sound like very negative for a day, just at some point. So
we just do like a whole thing on like dispelling the fear or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exposing the exposing of the new age or something.
Yeah,
like that. Dude. I don't even want it.
Good time.
Anyways, okay.
I'm gonna expose myself to the exposers of the.
Sure thing.
Where's
Crowley.
this going, man?
I do not like where this is going.
Yeah, so I think we are getting close to the nearing the end of the broadcast, and I did just want to end with closing meditation. There was something else that I just wanted to mention within the website. One thing that I actually did add today. First of all, I added under the About section. So again, under the top menus, people can browse those. Under the About section, I actually added a project origin story. And this is something that I had written a while ago for the original site, and then I just kind of copied it over in a new format onto this version of the website. So again, if anybody's like interested in, there's like, how did this paradigm shift project begin? Like what was it like? What did it look like back in 2010? You can actually totally go and find out now. Again, under the About up in the top of the menus, and click on Project Origin Story, and that has the full story up until about 2010. 2013, and then theoretically I may be able to like fill in the rest of the dots, but it really goes through like how it began as a single club in my college. Some of the events that we have included relevant videos. My presentation about the moon landing being fake that I did in my graphics class once, just an example of shifty stuff I was doing. The Sight Beyond Sight episodes, which is an episode series that we did. The Journey to the West movie. A thing that we did called Energy Exchange, which was like a live on-stage paradigm shift presentation meeting that was really cool. Some other things, that time when I ran for me and some buddies ran for the London Youth Advisory Council and used that to plant some seeds in our community. The genesis of the Paradigm Shift Radio project, back when I was like working for Spirit Science for a little bit, and some of the videos there, the Once in a Full Moon global project, and some early Shiftivism videos, some rally videos, and right up to the 3 Days of Light movie as well. And right up to, like, the most recent part that it goes up to is December 21st, 2012. And that was like when we were doing like Shiftivism as well here in London, Ontario, Canada, doing free hugs and doing some flash mob meditation things. So again, people can find those and go ahead and check that out. It's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of like reading it. It's almost like reading like a comic book story in a way, just seeing how it all unfolds and comparing that to where it is now. I think is a really cool thing. So again, under the About section, Project Origin Story, feel free to check that out for those who want to learn more and get more substance out of this real story. And another thing that I added under the Quest item store, people can check out, I actually added a link for Spacelight. Without having to get into too much detail, Spacelight is a natural alkaline athletic electrolyte formula, and it's a thing that our buddy Joe brought into this reality, and it's really good for like helping people who have joint aches or just people who want to be able to increase their endurance through athletics and get rid of muscle burn. I, for one, that's what I use it for primarily, is to like balance out my pH levels and get rid of muscle burn and increase endurance in that way. So you can go there and you can see some of the videos on that. You can actually order it through there and watch the link for the Journey to the West movie, which features Joe and the Spacelight and more there as well. So yeah, just letting you guys know some of the updates, and some of the updates coming in the future for the website will be an updated version of the team map and the community index, which will feature more information about the Shift communities. And again, for any of the people who are already community admins, please go and fill out the under tools, fill out the admin sign up form so that I can see which admins are still synced up, and we're sort of like starting from fresh in terms of like deciding which ones to put on the map in which order, and which ones to give access to a community group within the main website, sort of as a beta phase. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and that will be more within the ongoing project. And again, just reminding people that for being able to support the project, please check out join the monthly support squad for as little as $3 a month, and that's the team Patreon at patreon.com/Brendon Culliton. You can also find that under About and go to Donate if you want to even donate single donations at a time. That's totally welcome. Or you can just scroll down to the bottom of the website and you'll see the link for the Join the Monthly Support Squad there. And again, you know, just in terms of like giving you guys like these productions in terms of the actual recordings, they're just a part of the actual energy that goes into bringing this all together. And just as an example, after this broadcast ends, I still have to do a little bit of post-production, which takes like another like hour and a half as well, in order to be able to like get this online and ready for everyone first thing in the morning as well. So there's a lot of project that goes into this, but again, you know, like this is something that I've been doing for years, and I'm doing my best to optimize the process of it, and it's something that I'm happy to be able to do, knowing that it's making a difference, and knowing that your guys' support is helping make it possible and allowing us to continue to provide this high quality, professional, consciousness shifting, inspirational content for the entire community for free. So let's keep doing it. And again, we are just getting started in this, and Paradigm Shift is really like I think it's gonna sort of continue to stand out within the community in terms of like what is possible when a group of people come together around a focused idea of intention. So shout out again for everyone for being involved with this. So with that said, guys, let's transition just into our closing meditation real quick, and then we'll just wrap up the recording. And the next live broadcast will be the full moon global meditation, theoretically on Tuesday, at the on the full moon itself, July 19th, one day after my birthday. So, but before we just do that, I just want to pass the talking stick around. If Roman or if Kyle, if any of you guys had anything you wanted to say for the shifters tuned into this, just a short little words of inspiration or anything that you guys want to mention. Kyle, if there's anything you want to say, or we can wait till after the meditation, or
yeah, sure. Let's do the meditation first.
Do the meditation first. All right. Okay. Let's do the meditation first.
Just real quick before the meditation.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If listeners or watchers have made it this far, then I think if they're willing to have sat through this much, then they're the people that are gonna like produce change in the world. You're not gonna be the leader of a huge movement, but you're gonna be one of the sparks that you're gonna be one of the many sparks that just ignited the wave of consciousness, waves and the ripples and all of that stuff. Like, everyone's important. People cannot forget their own significance,
Yeah.
All right, you guys have a good one.
One of the messages that came through to me in a dream not too long ago was the idea that it only takes one, and let that mean what you want it to mean, but like it only takes one person to be able to like create that ripple that creates like a cascade of everlasting effects. So reminding ourselves that each of us is the one, is a one, is Neo waking up within the Matrix. So very literally. So we're reminding ourselves that. So fellow Neo Gonzo journalists, it's time to wake up. So let's move into our closing meditation, guys. And honestly, like, we have 8 viewers tuned into this in the actual live recording. That is like a record for this. Like, honestly, like, the YouTube recordings always like have like a kind of fairly minimal numbers. And again, thanks Facebook, but shout out to the 8 viewers for being tuned into this at the wee hours of the morning and for joining us here in this live closing meditation. So let's do that, and of course, shout out to everyone listening to this in the future. You guys are awesome. What was that?
I said shout out.
Shout out, shifters. Cool.
Shout out.
All right, guys. So let's do it. So I'll just ask you guys to mute your microphones, and again, we'll just move into this meditation. I'm just gonna allow it to flow naturally, and we're just gonna use it to reflect on a bit of our intentions and kind of allowing ourselves to embody what it is that we've just talked about for the last 4 hours here in this moment. So begin just by relaxing the body physically first. You can just roll the shoulders a bit first, straighten up the spine. Imagine someone pulling a string from the top of your head. And from here, we'll just begin by connecting with the breath. So gentle inhales through the nose, and gentle exhales through the nose and the mouth. And again, gentle inhales, and gentle exhales. Continue to find the rhythm of your own breath. With each exhale, just allowing yourself to become more relaxed, yet more calm and more presence within this moment. And as each one of us connects with our own breath, connecting with the idea of uniting all of our breaths, all of our heartbeats, all of our love, and all of our intention. Gentle inhales, courage, Exhale, compassion. Reflecting back within your own thought process as to what brought you to this moment, all the synchronicities, all the seeds that were planted that have allowed you to become who you are now, knowing that you're continuing to grow into more of who you will become. Allowing yourself to reflect on the call that you heard, the call that you are answering, the call that each of us heard, put out by the universe, put out by our future selves, put out by Mother Earth, by Gaia, and by the children of the future whose lives we are making a difference in, simply by showing up within this moment right now. And so allowing the breath to guide us, reflecting on what it is that we are here to do, to be love, to connect with love within ourselves, to be compassion, to connect with the courage to ask questions, to explore, and to be connected with the awe of the ever-unfolding fractal moment of this reality, knowing that there is always more to uncover, that there is always more to explore, that there is always more to awaken to. And so our breath guides us through the remembrance of us awakening as multidimensional beings within this infinite dream, listening to the future, listening to the potentials and the opportunities that are ahead of us, allowing our information, our intuition to guide us through this psychological playground, this holographic matrix, hacking it with love, hacking it with intention, with our thoughts, with our words, with our actions, with the energy that we carry with us each and every day. The shift that we are, the shift that we are continuing to become, knowing that those ripples are real, creating waves of change within our self, within our community, and within our collective self, reminding us that we are the hundredth monkey, and as we expand, the universe expands. So connecting with the breath, inhale courage, exhale compassion, reminding us of the deeper connection to what it means to be a light guardian, to be a shifter, to be a seeker, here at this moment, at this very important time within our collective awakening process here on Earth, knowing that our story began long before our experience here on Earth and will continue long after it, yet acknowledging that this moment here on Earth is indeed a very particular, a very important one, in bigger ways than we may ever fully understand, yet intuitively always know. So just take a couple more breaths here within your own pace, connecting with yourself, connecting with your future self, connecting with the difference that you will make, with the story that you will create, with the love that you are embodying with each and every breath, every day awakening to more of who you are, so that you may arrive in service for others, for those in your community, for those who you love, and for those who you are connected to, yet have yet to meet. Know that the synchronicity will guide you. Trust and allow yourself to listen. Inhale, courage. Exhale, compassion. So just take another couple moments here, connecting with this space, connecting with this shared connection between all of us, knowing that my words are our words, that we are consciousness doing what it can to help wake itself up, fractal versions of a single whole, separated through illusion, yet united within remembrance, seeing each other as one and carrying that wisdom forward into the future for all to benefit from, for all to awaken to. Just take a couple breaths here in silence. So carry the shift with you beyond this moment into the future, creating new realities together. One tribe, one family, one love. Aloha. So gently, using the breath, slowly bring your awareness back to your physical body, carrying with you this moment, bringing it beyond this broadcast, becoming more of who you already are. And so slowly, when you're ready, wiggle your toes and your fingers, and gently bring your awareness back to the space around you. And even just here, just inviting you to even just put your hand on your heart, just continuing this as like a micro meditation, just out of self-love, compassion, and just thanking yourself, genuinely thanking yourself for everything, for all the lessons, for all the experience. Much love. Nice. Got a little activation sensation up there in the end. A little spine tingling sensation. Good stuff. Good stuff. Cool. All right. Thanks again, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this. What's that, Michael?
I missed it.
The
I
meditation?
just went to get some dinner, and I caught like the end of it, but you guys were like about done.
Oh, no worries, man.
Roman dipped out right in the middle of it, man.
Oh, that's okay.
I got the last one.
Yeah, no worries.
I gotta keep listening, but I gotta kick rocks. That's great.
The future is promising. That was Roman's message. So cool. All right, guys. Well, with that said, let's conclude this broadcast. And thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this, for tuning in, for being a part of the shift. Reminding you to share this episode with your friends, to go back to check out other broadcasts recorded through the main website to explore it. Go check out the Shift movies if you haven't yet watched those. the Journey to Lucidity movies, the 3 Days of Light movie, the Journey to the West movie. Check out the Quest journals online, the conscious articles. Check out Kyle's conscious articles. Create your own Quest journals and conscious articles, and of course sign up for the Patreon when you can to be able to help support this project. $3 a month allows us to continue to carry this vision into the future and align with some very potent realities. So much love, everyone. And again, in terms of the community things, creating a community is incredibly simple. All you have to do is just be patient and show up. And it means, again, like not just creating a Facebook page, but creating an event and then inviting others to be able to take part in it, and doing things like free hugs to connect with those in your community, and doing the networking and knowing that you're already connected with those, and creating that space and practicing talking about the spirituality and the bigger questions in life, and allowing the evolution of consciousness to unfold through the space that we co-create together. So that is what part of what being a shifter is about. That's part of what being an admin is about. And I look forward to seeing which new admins will continue to join us as this story continues to unfold. So again, if you're looking to get directly involved as an admin, go to the website, go to tools, and click the admin sign up form. Fill that out. It takes 1 minute, and that will give us the information we need moving forward to continue to allow the data to accumulate and allow this game to continue to become even more richer. So super awesome stuff. So cool. Okay, so just before we finish this, Kyle, passing it over to you, any last message you want to share for the shifters out there? Go ahead. No, what happened to your mic, Kyle?
We're good.
There, yeah, we're good. Yeah, go ahead.
Dude, I had something, man. It's totally gone now. It's totally gone. I'm sorry. It's like,
all good, man.
I've got so much to say, man. So.
Be a light warrior,
Be a light warrior. Be a light guardian. Warrior. Be the guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I just
use the Force.
Yeah.
Yoda knows.
I'm looking forward to making connections with people, man.
I'm excited for our journey. I'm excited for your journey, man. Definitely. So
I'm really excited.
Totally, man. Well, sweet. Well, we got the full moon's just on the horizon, so let's keep carrying this energy forward. And like November is a big milestone for us, because that's when the Doctor Strange movie comes out, and that's when everyone's going to be talking about metaphysics, and we're going to be able to be there to meet society halfway. So
we're going to have a lot of new people coming in.
We're going to have a lot of people. Have you guys heard of astral projection and metaphysics and multiple dimensions, and that this reality is more tangible, or more, less cut and dry as it appears to be? Just like that movie.
Finally.
Yeah.
I watched this movie, Doctor Strange, man, and the guy went outside of his body.
Yeah, ancient esoteric knowledge, man. It's so cool. Tell me more about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Sweet, guys. Okay, man. So let's wrap this up. And again, thank you so much, people, for listening to this, for being a part of this real-world interactive game to help shift consciousness. Simply by listening, you are playing, yet reminding you to continue to bring the actions out there into your real world. Continue to find the other shifters where you are. Use the team map. Connect with those. Get the shift buttons through the team Patreon, and hack the matrix with love. The future is now, and the future is promising. So with that said, guys, join me, and we'll just say again, if you're listening to this, find me at facebook.com/skullbabylon, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube at youtube.com/skullbabylon, and the Patreon is patreon.com/Brendon Culliton, and like us through the Facebooks at facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Central and Paradigm Shift LiveNet, and that's that. So guys, join me in saying good night, good morning, farewell, and until next time to all the shifters out there. So until next time, shifters, we love you, and keep it shifty. Woo.
I love you. You guys are beautiful. Love you.
You guys are awesome. You guys are rocking it, and I look forward to hearing more about your stories and your quest journals as our bigger quest unfolds. So thank you again, guys. Much love, and we'll see you in the future. Keep it shifty. Until next time. Peace.
Master Quest.
Rocket. One love.